some wooden coins and all that other stuff. You're going to get just doused with stickers and a lot of love in the mail if you become a sponsor over the next 48 hours. And then we'll see what we come up with in January, which is going to be just so fun. I was talking about that with everybody in the Sunday stream about Film Club. I can't wait for Film Club. Even if we just jump into some old Twilight Zone episodes, it's going to be a great year. If you're a sponsor, all the extra content is I want to almost match the show, which is impossible to do because we're talking about thousands of hours of preparation and hundreds of hours of broadcast. So with that, thank you so much. I will see you on the other side, and we will get this thing rolling. So be good. And Happy New Year. What do you think that we should do to entertain people at home?
I hate this show.
Oh, my God. So I don't look at the chat room. And now she's kind of brought that with her.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's
stop along the way because I just wanted to put some encapsulating thoughts for 2024 over here, and that's just where we are. Listen to this. This is from this month's newsletter. If you haven't gotten it, go and read it. If you don't know where the link is at this point, email me or ask somebody in the chat room. Behind the scenes. This time last year, even though everything was feeling warm and cheery for the first time in a few years, with travel restrictions and anxieties eased to nearly pre-2020 levels, many spending money again on Christmas gifts and parties, there was still something dangling over our heads that was hard to completely ignore, and that was 2024. I was taking calls and collecting emails all December long, leading up to New Year's Eve, archiving predictions for what this now nearly finished year was going to bring us. It did not disappoint from a personal and planetary level. No, 2024 lived up to its billing. I feel every New Yorker. Every New Year. Let me get you over here. I want to get you up on the screen there. I pulled my eyes away for a second. Every New Year actually begins with the Super Bowl. And I really feel that way because I feel most of January belongs to December still. It's just a very strange thing. Yeah. But for a long time, I would just wait. It would be like February 1st and wait out January to be over. But anyway. So the Super Bowl. It's a time to get with friends, family together, get some boxes at the local deli, order some food that will make J Gulinello call in the National Guard.
It's really in there.
Yeah, it is. Aside from that, the game usually provides, quite frankly, with opportunities to de-occult the halftime ritual and poke fun at the worsening quality of the commercials, which used to be one of the biggest reasons to watch. How bad are the commercials? How forgettable. Yeah. There's nothing you can do anymore.
It's not the same anymore.
No, there's nothing left on that end. Let's see. From there on, there wasn't a dull moment that I can think of. There was a solar eclipse that passed through most of New York just days after Easter and my birthday. Always remember standing in the driveway with Lauren, Aurora, my mother, and my brother, watching the sun turn crescent with our Star Trek glasses, and never forget the debates about whether or not the glasses were even necessary at all, or whether NASA rocket experiments on the day of the eclipse was actually a recreation of an ancient Egyptian ritual, as we did with Ryan Gable. Lauren and I were already deep into preparation for our May 21st wedding, a renewal of our vows from 2017, only this time in the church. And boy, did the day arrive quickly with our gorgeous little flower girl, Aurora, leading the way down the aisle for a small group of family gathering on a warm, sunny Tuesday. And then 2 days later, we would be off to Maine. That was a big one there. But then that was the other thing. From there, we were hightailing it through spring into summer. And we were determined to get sun every day no matter what. Mm-hmm. Leads us to where we are pretty much around this time. We had, actually, Jay shows up again in here. I was gonna skip through. Paired with all the nutritional tips that I've been learning throughout our wellness talks on the show, This was a banner year for health in the Frankly household, especially for Lauren, whose work with Jay can most definitely be described as life-altering, if not life-saving, but that's a story for another time. Book Club, now in its second full year, better than ever. We covered the gamut from comet impacts and triumphs of faith to coming-of-age summertime nostalgia and self-confronting quests into imagined worlds with the Never-Ending Story and everything else. In October, we incorporated short stories into the mix for the first time, and it added a whole new aspect to the book club sessions that I am sure will continue to expand down the road. But to tell the story of 2024 with any real depth would be to commit to an anthology of articles focusing on slivers until eventually the fuller picture began to form. Because behind the personal adventures of writing and producing the nightly show, looming over the shoulder of every trip we took, whether it be at Bar Harbor, Martha's Vineyard, or our autumnal retreat in the Adirondacks, or peering at us through the clouds as we made plans to launch a newsletter, or upgrade the studio, or book guests, that was the main event that was looking at us, stalking us like a butler, the election.
It's true.
We brought with us into this new year all the disastrous memories of 2020, a year in which our nation was slowly hoodwinked, gaslit into giving up whatever was left of election integrity, from election night being turned into election weeks to being able to vote through JCPenney Christmas catalog. Many of us wondered what good could possibly come of 2024. And then came 2024. Donald Trump was surging once again as conditions across the country degraded, and all opposition and its media could think to do was insult those who were hurting. We saw Joe Biden dash his own election hopes by having a stroke during the debate in June. Then we saw President Trump nearly killed for real under conditions that will defy logic for as long as we maintain the right to discuss it. A week after that, Joe Biden is ripped away from his own campaign by force of his own party. And then Americans were once again required to go through IQ and compliance testing based on whether they accepted Kamala Harris as their new prom queen. 3 months of Project Hobeam, as I call it, with the media and most pollsters lying about her popularity, her intelligence, and her mandate to lead. We knew it wasn't real. I certainly knew it wasn't real, even before Madison Square Garden, as Trump packed the arena with many thousands still outside, myself included. No matter what we know is or isn't real, what we do have to go by until we break, what do we have to go by until we break through the smokescreen? And that's what we did. We broke through in a big way on November 5th as we witnessed the lie that was Kamala Harris be beaten handily in both the Electoral College and by millions in the national popular vote, confirming that we are in fact a formidable, truly diverse majority, that we were right to suspect enormous levels of foul play in 2020. But there is one thing that this colossal victory has granted so many of us, a mandate to take a satisfying breath for the first time since 2019 and enjoy the holidays the best we can before we reignite the engines for 2025. Surely we are not out of the proverbial woods, and there is plenty of evidence to suggest that even thermonuclear war is not off the table when it comes to resisting any sort of change that upsets the deep state apple cart. But all you and I could ever have done along the way is pray, vote, improve ourselves, and get a little sun. For me, the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is almost over now, are going to be a real blast reading through our 2024 predictions, casting the net for 2025 prophecies, enjoying our more well-established end-of-year traditions, tripling down on our commitment to family and culture and the art form that is talk radio. Postscript. And this is when I thanked everybody from Krista to John Carroll, my Lauren, everybody that was on and off screen helping with the newsletters that this was printed on, and of course all the shows, the hundreds of shows every year, and all the extra stuff that we do along the way. Boy, oh boy, and then it leads us today to just the past couple of weeks since this has been published. And there's so much.
3 weeks from today is Inauguration Day. 3 weeks from today. So, yeah, and you're right about that concern, right? The election, I think we even discussed it on election night. It felt great. It really did feel like a sigh of relief. But given everything that you just read and everything that we all have gone through in 2024, I don't think anybody's going to really breathe a sigh of relief until the 21st. And then, the real work begins, making sure all these cabinet appointments go through. What's going to come next? What's the January surprise for RFK, for instance? All of these things. But we're there. We're 21 days away where we've, sort of dodged the bullets of what we thought maybe would come at the actual holidays, because I was convinced The holidays are the perfect time to hide something, and maybe we still don't know where that landmine was set, right?
Yeah.
Because on Christmas you're not paying attention to much, and I'm sure there was something done that we weren't aware of.
It has to be.
So, but you're right. I think we earned the sigh of relief, but it's you kind of have to keep your head on a swivel with these people.
Oh, I know, absolutely. And oh shit, my hat's still on there.
Oh.
That's how I defrost the lava lamps, by the way.
Lava cozy.
Oh, look, see, watch, look. It's about to gloop.
It did.
Look,
It did. Whoa! Look
there's
at
a
that.
nice gloop. Now, if I hadn't had this koozie on top of the lava lamp, it would have been frozen for another hour and a half.
And it's actually not even that cold today.
I know.
Today's in the 50s.
I'm telling you.
It's not bad.
I'm telling you. In the summertime, I can set these for 4:30. And they'll be fine.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, I can put them on at 1 o'clock. And if I don't have some kind of something insulating them now, it's over.
We sound old, Frank. We'll say like they don't make them like
They don't make them like they used to. The crazy thing is I don't know how they made them.
I don't know.
I only know this shit.
Yeah.
Everything is childproof. The lava lamps aren't even, they're not even hot enough to be considered a cup of coffee. Or
It was like a rite of passage when I was a kid. I had a lava lamp. I still have it in my apartment, and you could kill somebody with that thing. I mean, it was hot as hell, and it was just the deal. You just had to learn how to, not put your hand on the stove. But
yeah.
Not anymore.
Talking about everything else, like things hidden and shit like that. Jimmy Carter's dead.
Yeah, I heard that. 100
years old. He died. But as I was saying with my family last night, he was essentially dead 6 years ago.
That's true.
I don't. Once you get to that phase in your life where your mouth is hanging open, and you're staring blankly. That's not life. It's just breathing, and it's whatever. I'm not a very big historian. I hope that the Department of Education that came into being under his administration dies with him over the next couple of years. Who knows? But I gotta tell you, it's very strange because I mean, it had to have. He's been in hospice for like decades, and so you knew it was coming soon. So it's not sudden, but at the same time, the timing is incredible because. I don't know if people remember this, but back in 2018 or early 19, something like that, I had the Jimmy Carter dream. Do you remember this dream?
No.
I told it, okay, it was a strange dream that was linked to money and gold and all that shit. So what I had this dream where I was in my childhood bedroom, which now I'm back in there. It's a big bedroom and whatever, and we moved back and all that stuff. We turned it into our marital bed. Anyway, but years ago when we weren't even in there,
you and Lauren are not in bunk beds?
Oh no, we have two twin beds.
Okay, good.
Like my grandparents.
Right, I was gonna say. I mean, come on.
Did your
it's a family show.
Did your grandparents have twin beds?
Yes,
mine did.
One set did.
I never understood.
Actually, separate rooms for one set.
I used to go when I would go up into my grandparents' bedroom when I was a little kid, and I just never understood. It's like two twin beds and. It's separated by a nightstand. So it's not even like, cold nights that can push it together. Like they were committed.
That's true love. Like, I love you, but I cannot sleep next to you.
I wonder what it was about.
You are insane at night. You don't even realize it. I don't know. I would imagine.
I wonder what it was about because they were a very affectionate couple. And so it's not like they didn't have a cold relationship at all. They were very much in love.
One of them was a kicker. I'm telling you.
Oh, my grandmother had restless leg syndrome.
That's all you need to know.
But I don't know how early on that started.
I mean, I've seen restless leg with very young people, so it can happen anytime.
Anyway, so
Detour.
This was years before I was even up there. And I had a dream that I was back up in that room. It was a sunny day. The sun was coming through the window just the way that it does around maybe 6 o'clock on a late July afternoon or something. And sitting almost like in the sunlight, but in a recliner in my room was Jimmy Carter. And it was an understanding of mine. You know how you have these unspoken understandings of what's going on in your room? Because it's all generated from you.
Yeah.
I had this understanding in my dream that he was dying or he was about to die. And so that was weird. So from there, the dream takes me outside to a little bit of an area next to my house in between me and my neighbor's yard. And what I noticed that in the grass were these little divots. And inside the divots, I was seeing these clusters of 3 coins, gold coins. There was, I don't know how many clusters there were, but there were these little divots, and in every divot in the grass was a cluster of 3 gold coins. I didn't know what the hell any of that meant. So then I went into, I think the next day, I don't know if the Billy Crystal dream had anything to do. I think it did.
The actor?
Yes.
Okay.
It might have had something to do with it. Shortly after that, if not the same night, I don't remember. I have to go back and listen. I had a dream that I was in my grandmother's, my father's mother's kitchen, and I was looking out the kitchen window into the backyard, and I can see over the horizon this incredible, almost like an aurora borealis, but it looked like a distant fireworks show that was just lighting up the horizon with reds and greens and all that, but I can't actually see what's going on. And in the dream, I realized, I said, okay, well that's something that is that's New York City. I knew it. Mm-hmm. Now I'll come around to this in a little bit. The next day after the Jimmy Carter dream, Rob and I were working out at the park. After we were done at the park, we had a routine at that point where after we worked out, we went down to this Brazilian place and we had food. They had they had great food over there. They cut the skirt steak right off of the rotisserie and all. So it was awesome. And we would go there regularly. And this day, and nothing ever like this happened ever before in my life. Went there, I paid, and I got $3 change back. The change that they gave me was 3 gold coins. This was like the next day, bro.
Wow.
Okay. They gave me 3 gold coins. You remember in around 2000 they released the Sacagaweas?
Yes.
The gold $1 coins?
Yep.
Well, I didn't know that over the course of maybe the next 12 years, they kept releasing new gold coins, but different people.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
So they gave me 3 coins, gold. I said, what the hell is going on here? Then I looked down, I said, they gave me Sacagaweas. And then I looked down, it wasn't Sacagawea. It was Millard Fillmore.
Oh.
No.
Millard Fillmore.
But listen to this.
Okay.
So I looked down, and it's Millard Fillmore's face on it. And I said, what the hell? Millard Fillmore? So I went home, and I just, okay, well, what the hell about this guy? I want to know something about this guy I never learned before. The first thing that popped up that was notable, and it's become a topic of conversation on the show before, is that he was a member of one of the nation's first, if not the first, major third party called the Anti-Masonic Party.
Oh, okay, I remember that.
Whose primary purpose was to counter the influence of Freemasonry in American politics. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I got 3 gold coins the next day with Millard Fillmore's face on it, anti-Masonic, the timing all timed with Jimmy Carter's death or imminent death. Mm-hmm. And then the second half of the other dream is I followed the lights on the horizon to New York City, and I got down to the Hudson River. I'm on the West Side Highway. Mm-hmm. And the Hudson River was drawn, it was drawn back almost like it was drained.
Wow.
And on the riverbed was Billy Crystal, dressed in a pea coat that goes full length pea coat. And it was my understanding that he was going to be hosting some kind of New Year's Eve celebrations. And like the marquee light bulbs that were used for the old New York City ball drops and whatever.
Yeah.
Just those classic soft white light bulbs. Mm-hmm. Behind him, illuminated in those light bulbs, was the year 1971, which of course, Richard Nixon, the gold standard.
Wow.
I'm like, what the fuck does this all mean? So when now that we are sitting here on the precipice of 2025 and Jimmy Carter dies, okay, and it makes me think about that dream and how it was all tied to not only anti-Masonic, but also, I guess, the stability of the currency in some way.
Sure.
It makes me wonder.
Wow. I thought Jimmy Carter was going to be on one of those coins, which would have been great, but I don't even know if he's on one of those coins.
No.
So, that's super interesting. And then I saw something yesterday or today. I don't know if you've seen this, but there was an article. I don't know. I saw it in one place and I can't confirm it. Maybe somebody in the audience can, that there was an article written that Jimmy Carter died last year in 2023 at 98. So I only saw it once. I didn't have a chance to look at it. I've been on the road all day. I didn't have a chance to look it up, but maybe somebody else will see it. But that was weird because I know in my personal life, I've had a couple of people, you can call it a Mandela effect. I just call it like being not aware of an older celebrity, you know, like I always say, like Don Knotts. I thought Don Knotts was dead for like 15 years. And then when he died, I was like, now I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I thought Don Knotts had died a long time ago. But it's that same kind of thing. I had just read or, you know, saw that there was a whole article written on Jimmy Carter's death. And there's a few people that their death was written about prior to, and it was a mistake. I believe even Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Wasn't there something about her death prior to her death? I think there's a couple of people, like they had it ready to go and they accidentally put it out beforehand.
On Fox. A couple of Fox, they had a false start with George H.W. as well.
Oh, maybe that. Yeah. So I mean, those are strange to me. I mean, I guess that you could just write them off as sort of, well, you know, we know it's imminent and somebody hit the wrong button, I guess. But that's really interesting. And you're right. All of those things in your dream, other than the fact that you time traveled to, you know, 1971, which is pretty cool.
I don't know if I time traveled. I just know that there was. It's just 1970. What was the significance of 71?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And
so
the first thing I went to was Nixon and gold because it already related to the other thing. And just think about the probability. I have never been given Sacagaweas for change ever before that or ever after that. And the fact that I was given 3 Millard Fillmores, who's a strictly, I mean, the most compelling thing about him that I found was the anti-Masonic background.
Yeah.
And the other thing here too is you think about someone like Ruth Bader Ginsburg's, how she held out and the timing of her death and how it really allowed someone like Donald Trump to, you know, end the federal relationship to abortion, at least temporarily. This is another thing here too. Now, Jimmy Carter has nothing to do with any of that, but it seems to me that there's a possibility now, considering the administration that's coming in and the possibilities that may come with that there would be no possibility at all with the other side.
Right.
Perhaps Jimmy Carter's death is but a marker. Because he doesn't have anything really to do with the currency, but I think of Jimmy Carter's death as a marker. That could be interesting in 4 years' time. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or it could go the complete opposite direction, and it really is the mark of the beast, and everything goes digital with nothing backing it.
It doesn't. I mean, I know that we've been saying this for a while, but we've been teetering on that precipice for almost an entire administration, because at any point in the 2021 to 2024-5 time period, we could have fallen off that cliff, but something has held us back. And now we have that opportunity. And you're right. I mean, this may be a very interesting historical marker. We may not be able to see it in our lifetime, but people may look back on this and be able to connect some of those dots. And I agree. I mean, it's very interesting that all those things ended up connecting. And now Jimmy Carter's gone. And maybe that's the sort of, also the death of the old Democrat Party. I mean, he was, from what everybody says, even someone like Robert Barnes, who's, nothing about his policy or his presidency was remarkable. In fact, it was horrendous in most aspects. But he says, from everything I've heard, everybody that I've known that's ever known him says he was a really good guy. He was just completely over his head. Had absolutely no clue what he was
To be honest,
doing.
that's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything positive or glowingly positive about his administration. I've heard that, he was, I've read people on both sides of the coin say that he was official, at least with the Iran, the hostage crisis, he was kind of shanked.
Because they wanted to allow it to be in
a
Reagan's
Reagan thing.
Yeah.
But whatever, but the one thing that has been kind of universal is his demeanor and his reputation, but whatever.
But Frank, I mean, he's the perfect person. You can't have someone who's a nice guy in that position, because they're not wielding all the power. There are, I mean, it's been very clear from quite a few different sources that the president isn't even pulling all the strings and isn't even cleared to have certain knowledge. So the president is not the be all end all the way we think of it. You talk about this on the show all the time. The president, I mean, originally wasn't even supposed to have near the power that the president has now. But it just makes me wonder about people complain about Donald Trump's demeanor, but I believe truly that it is that demeanor that is required in this time at least, to be an effective leader, an effective president, if nothing else, to stem the tide or to return us to something of a representative republic, which obviously we are not. So, dissolving the Department of Education, trying to break down the bureaucracy. Or as you said, if the other side had won, all they want to do is continue to build up the bureaucracy. But like the Department of Education, I'm sure his heart was in the right place. But government never solves problems. They never solve problems. They only create them.
And to your previous point, his heart was in the right place. What did he really have in creating? I mean, that's a bureaucratic creation.
Absolutely.
And, he was the guy in that time in history that had the pen that needed to sign on the dotted line.
Exactly.
But other than that, whatever. I'm sure he was proud of it. But
yeah, and they probably sold it to him as your name is always going to be associated with the Department of Education. Doesn't that sound fantastic? It's like, yeah, well, great.
But the other thing that keeps coming back to me, Jay, is the fact that on the eve of 2020, I was getting really excited. We all were getting very excited about being thrust back into the 20s again. Being such a fan of the 1920s, the Coolidge administration, what was going on culturally with the sports in this country, what was happening economically, and it was something that I was really excited about. Because I'm thinking 100 years later, are we going to have another roaring 20s?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got 2020, and what was all fabricated. It was all planned.
Yep.
No doubt about it. We were screwed every way you can consider. But, we're only 4 years in. Mm-hmm. We're about to hit the midway point or start approaching the midway point of this decade, and I still want to see this thing roar, man. I want to be 100 years later. I keep thinking about, I want the roaring 20s.
And what's smack dab in the middle of this next administration? America's 250th birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the perfect opportunity to bring this back. And I think it takes someone with the demeanor of Donald Trump to be able to handle the slings and arrows of people who are going to be outraged in the week about whatever he's trying to cut, whatever he's trying to, so, I'm looking forward to it. I think we have some of the right people in place. Not all the right people, but I'm the kind of person who doesn't think you need to react to everything so dramatically like we tend to do today because we have social media and all those things. I like to sit back and just let things play out and sort of decide, not always in the moment. So I still have a lot of optimism for what's coming. I don't think anyone's going to be able to accomplish everything they set out to do. If you think that, you probably don't understand how Washington, D.C. works and how that bureaucracy is such a mess. It is designed to stop progress, actual progress, not the kind of progress that the progressives talk about, actual progress. So, but I'm still optimistic. I think we have the opportunity, like we said on election night, for the first time in a long time, we have an opportunity to do something.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're getting stuff like this. Leanna Wen is back.
Oh, yay!
The homunculus, she lives.
I cannot see her without thinking of that name that you coined.
Homunculus face. Leanna Wen, which is, I got to be honest. How old is she? Oh, Siri, how old is Leanna Wen? Leanna Wen. Let's see. Where is she?
I can give it to you if you
find it for me if you can.
She was born in 83.
She's 41 years old?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. She's
41. Her birthday's in January, so she'll be 42 this month.
She's aging very poorly for an Asian.
Well, I mean, when
she's carrying a lot of water for a lot of evil. I was
going to say, if you ever read, it just escaped my mind. I hate when that happens.
Oh boy.
Picture of Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the painting, I think it's Oscar Wilde. I think the painting takes on all of the sins of the person so they can go on and live a life of debauchery, but they don't age. It's the painting that bears the brunt of all the, that's maybe,
you see a lot of people bearing brunts. we live around a lot of paintings.
Yeah.
Take a listen to this. I'm going to go nuts if I hear, hold on. It's been a long time since we listened to her. She hasn't popped up and
you should apologize to the audience.
I'm sorry ahead of time, but it's been a long time, so I have to suffer through it as well. I hate her.
There are two main things that they should be doing in the days that they have left. The first is to get testing out there. I feel like we should have learned our lesson from COVID that just because we aren't testing, it doesn't mean that
Just because we aren't testing you.
Someone should have learned their lesson during COVID.
the virus isn't there. It just means that we aren't looking for it. We should be having rapid tests, home tests available to all farm workers, to their families, for the clinicians taking care of them so that we aren't waiting for public
What is wrong with her?
There's a lot wrong with her.
labs and CDC labs to tell us what's bird flu or not. And the second very important
Because we have to
thing is-
create the panic, you see.
Yeah.
How do we, if we don't test, we don't know that it's out there. And trust me, I'm Leanna Wynn. It's out there.
I know, and you know, I think she might have been a year ago. I don't know when it was. If it wasn't her, or somebody else that had that put out there and had she asserted that every chicken in the country should be tested like once a month. PCR test, by the way.
Oh, yeah. She was also the one who told us all that we should do things like restrict people's travel. She's a psychopath.
No, she's nuts. She's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And it's one of, again, the PCR tests with chickens. And we're talking about tests that were being tripped positive by papayas. And
That guy died.
This is not like the beginning of COVID where we were dealing with a new virus. We didn't have a vaccine.
we didn't have a vaccine.
Of course.
Didn't have a vaccine. What is wrong with you, you creature, you freak? Like a lump of clay that came alive.
Actually is a vaccine developed already against H5N1. The
That was a really accentuated one.
Well, she's one. It's like it's very easy not to put an M at the end of that.
It's very easy.
The effort that has to take to have this speech impediment. There's so much effort.
It makes her more convincing, I think.
It's like, somebody who has a lisp. I understand it. A word has the letter S in it, and you can't say it.
It's tough. You can't say it.
You can't say it, and whatever. But
It sucks.
when a word ends in a consonant, and you have to, the effort it takes to put another consonant after a consonant.
Yes, it does.
It's a lot of it. It's cumbersome.
Maybe that's how you know she's lying.
Biden administration has contracted with manufacturers to make almost 5 million doses of the vaccine. However, they have not asked the FDA to authorize the vaccine.
So she's essentially begging the Biden administration, with whatever time they have left,
Yes.
to fast track millions of bird flu shots through the FDA to, I guess, in case the panic. I don't know.
And remember, she also had a bit of, if I remember correctly, because, we all see so much media, I believe she had a bit of a mea culpa after COVID. Saying things like about her children, I think maybe it was, about masks or maybe even the COVID shot. Something, I remember being like, oh, wow, look at that. Even like either, I don't think it was actual reason. I think it was just the political winds had shifted so severely in the other direction that she was like, well, maybe we made some mistakes. But this is exactly, Frank, this is the precise reason why I do not allow anybody to ask for and get pandemic amnesty until they realize their sins, because people like her, I said, will come out and do the same thing if you don't hold them accountable. That's why the truth about COVID needs to still come out, because until we unravel that, you're going to have this crap.
Dude,
It's just right from the same playbook.
And like you said, she helped spearhead the persecution. It cannot be described any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Persecution of Americans who didn't want to be coerced into becoming guinea pigs.
Right.
And she even later came out and admitted that it did a lot of harm, to the point where I believe she admitted it did a lot of harm to her own children, that her own children were developmentally hindered in
That
school.
was the mea culpa that I think I saw. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. But I mean, obviously it wasn't real. It was only because the political winds had shifted, because she's right back to the same bullshit.
Oh, and dude, we are already neck deep in what we can call the great denial. I have seen it all over forget the devils who administered and enforced all this. They know what script they have to run, and when the script changes, and how they back off, and how they just gaslight and completely make people feel like they're going insane. But when I've already seen the tweets. I remember, I think Harrison Smith from InfoWars put out a couple of, a compilation of a collage of these tweets not too long ago. You know what? Hold on a second. Give me a sec. I think I had it bookmarked.
While we
Go
do
ahead.
that, you want me to just talk a little bit real quickly, just a little interesting factoid about Leanna Wen?
Yes, please go.
So you guys, in the audience, whenever a doctor is on television, I just want to let you know that it's really important because we don't have the systems in place, which we should. They should I always say they should look like NASCARs. They should be wearing the badge of every pharmaceutical company or anybody that they're getting paid for. They should have to wear white lab coats with all the patches on them so that we know that this message is brought to you by X, Y, or Z. So you can just do something simple and go to openpaymentsdata.gov. This is from actually openpaymentsdata.cms.gov. So it's a .gov website. You can look up Leanna Wen, who's licensed out of Baltimore, Maryland, and you can go look at the history of the things that have been allocated to her through a variety of companies. Now, she's relatively unremarkable for the past 7 or 8 years. I have on my screen, I have going back to 2017, where she received like specialty mean of like $982. So she was a nobody. I don't know, maybe because she was like a crisis actor in Boston. I don't know. You fill in the blank.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, 2020 rolls around, and there's a distinct increase between 2020 and 2021, and 2022, it dips down a bit, and then it's right back up in 2023. So that's the only data that I have because 2024 is not quite complete yet. But if you go just from the end of 2020 to 2023, all of a sudden, she goes from making about $982 to be precise, to $1.1 million.
That's a big raise.
That's a big raise from a couple of pharmaceutical companies and companies that make injectables for eye diseases. And all of a sudden, she has that's an obscene amount of money for a doctor. I mean, so never mind her practice or anything else. This is just coming from those companies. So you want to know where people's bread is buttered. You always need to consider the source. I use things like this all the time when I'm writing things, and I'm doing videos on Rumble or whatever I'm doing. I'm always using these databases because it's .gov. It's public knowledge. It's not hidden. It's not conspiracy. Although I do love a good conspiracy, but you just have to understand where the information is coming from. And you have to really start to question when people see that kind of increase in their public notoriety along with an increase in their pocketbook. You just got to question the source. I mean, that's crazy. From less than $1,000 in a year to 1.1 million. And it really makes you wonder. I mean, it's hard for some people to resist. So even if I give her all the benefit of the doubt, and she was a great doctor once upon a time, whoever she is now is unrecognizable. And I think the way she acted during COVID was disgraceful. And now she's being paid likely to have these opinions.
Oh, well, I tend to agree with you. I think that it's very easy to see how that stencil can be fitting on a lot of people right now.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. And you know what? For the 20 minutes that we have left in the first half, this is why I wanted to jump over the grab bag and just get right into the conversation.
Oh, it's 7:40.
Yeah. It's almost like spacious, right? We got so much space. Call in with whatever, highlights of 2024 you have. Little stories, big stories, things that people have already forgotten about, or things that you noticed along the way. Come and drop it in. We're just doing a little bit of a review of the last 12 months, and I'd love for you to be in on it. In the second half, we're going to get into all the stuff that we had submitted last year.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I want to see that.
See if we have any Nostradamuses in the audience.
That's what I'm always worried. Well, not worried about. I'm curious about. Mm-hmm. Because it's when it comes to projecting or predicting what's going to happen in the next year, as I've said in all the threads, I think that the more obscure the better. Maybe an earthquake in a specific spot, mm-hmm. Someone, I guess a World Series pick is not. I don't know. That's not really
landing on Mars.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
something weird.
Yeah.
But say, all right, I can't wait to look out for this. We'll see, because I've forgotten a lot what was in there. So 914-200-0269. Good to have you guys all by me. I'm going to be reading your Rumble rants and your Super Chats, quite frankly, superchat.com. Nat Wall, 3330, says, love the show. And Jehoshaphat Gulinello. Well, thank you so much, Nat Wall. It's good to have you on.
Jumpin' Jehoshaphat.
I'm so happy to have you all along with me. Let me see here. Let's take a call. Santino, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, Santino.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey.
I'm not gonna do nothing goofy. I want to ask Jay a serious health question this time.
Okay.
I won't blindside you with no sex talk there.
You got it.
I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you. Right hand to God.
All right.
So Jay, like fucking, I was just showing Frankie a video there. I was cooking pork chops in pork grease and butter, like real butter. What do you think about that for health?
I think it's a great idea.
He had three pork,
Yeah.
he had three pork chops just stacked on top of each other. Looked good.
Actually, 4, Frankie.
It was? Oh, very nice.
King, I heard
four.
I think I heard on a call maybe a couple of months ago or something. Frank was saying you've been like on this health kick and you're kicking ass. Is that true?
I'm trying.
Yeah. Well, you're doing.
I'm trying.
If you're eating,
but I mean, that's not a thing I would do every day, obviously, because that would be detrimental if you do it every day. Correct? But if I do it incrementally, pork chops and bacon grease and butter, incrementally, that's not a bad thing, right?
No, my friend, I'm telling you, fat has gotten a bad rap since the 1970s. Real animal fat, so lard, tallow is another great one. Butter, grass-fed butter. Those are 3 of the fats you want to cook in because they're stable fats. So without getting into all the science, basically those fats are stable, so they're not going to be oxidized by heat. So those are your animal fats are the best fats to cook with, no matter what you're cooking. Even if you're cooking vegetables, cook in butter, cook in ghee, cook in tallow, or cook in lard. Those are your best fats to cook anything in. Absolutely.
If I could also ask you, Jay, and I read this, and I know you're an expert. I have read, and you could confirm whether this is right or wrong. Is it true that pork is actually a healthier form of protein than beef?
Actually, I would not agree with that. I would not agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think beef has a better nutritional profile and has a better fat profile as well. I like pork as long as the pork has to be well raised because, again, without getting into too deep into the weeds, it has more polyunsaturated fatty acids, and that can be influenced by the diet of the pig. So if the pig is being fed soy or corn or grain, it's going to alter that fat ratio, whereas beef has a much lower total value of polyunsaturated fats, so the nutritional profile will be less contingent on their diet.
Even if it's conventionally raised?
Even if it's conventionally raised. So when you go out and you don't know the quality of the meat, always opt for beef because that's going to be your best way to avoid things like glyphosate, and it's going to get you your best nutritional profile.
Gotcha. Okay.
Could I make a prediction for 2025, Frank?
Please, yes.
Great things for our country in 2025, baby.
Yeah, you're getting knocked out by the Rays.
You're getting knocked out by the right. You're getting knocked out by Trump.
Wait. King, you're still there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think last time you called, I forgot to ask this question. My band used to play a club up in Lawrence called the Claddagh. Are you familiar with that place?
I am. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Damn it. That was a cool place.
It was until undesirables because Lawrence used to be a majority Italian town, and then, well, we all know what goes along there.
Yeah, you know. Well, what are you going to do?
Thank you, King. I appreciate your call, man. I appreciate the update. I wanted to ask you that last time, whether that place still existed, because I had some good memories there.
I'm glad you had them good memories, and I appreciate you guys taking my call and you, Jay, taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care, man. Be well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see. On that, Jay, I was going to say this for another time, but real quick, because the lines are still open. Everybody call in with your 2024 thoughts. You can start projecting and predicting from now on if you'd like. I saw this, the seed oils in the spotlight. At the center of these alarming studies are seed oils. Category include consumption options like sunflower, soybean, canola, and corn oils. Now, here's the studies that they're attached to. I saw this on Zero Hedge today, actually. Cooking oils used by millions linked to cancer in second study in a week. And, of course, the most prevalent form of cancer is colon cancer, which I feel like that is just like everywhere now.
That might be the one I saw, and I actually wrote on my Instagram about it on December 13th. If it's the one that came out of BMJ Gut, that's the one that I saw, and that's the one that I analyzed.
So again, everybody cook with butter, tallow, lard.
Yes, please.
It just...
But see, like King's a perfect example of someone who's like looking for the knowledge and trying to figure it out, but has the misconception, not to his fault, but it's what we've all been, I had that misconception, that programming of like, but I shouldn't cook in this every day and I shouldn't be eating that every day. And it's like, and that's why I was like, well, I mean, we don't really know if that's true or not. And certainly the fat part of it, I would say, if you're going to cook, that's what you should cook in every day. You should never cook in those polyunsaturated fats. Never. Never cook in canola oil. Never cook in sunflower oil. Never cook in safflower oil. Never, never, never.
This is the last year that I cooked my Thanksgiving turkey in peanut oil.
We're going to get a bucket of lard, you and I, or tallow, and we'll split it.
Yeah.
Because the one that we used at the retreat, believe it or not, I still have some left over.
Wow.
It's at my parents' house. It's a huge,
Dude, that was some of the best fried chicken I've had in my life.
Exactly. And it's the way it was always done throughout human history. And I tell people all the time, the first recorded heart attack in the medical literature was 1912. And at that time, prior to that, 99% of our fats in our diet were animal derived. So you tell me, now that heart disease is the #1 killer, and all we've done is completely change around the fat profile of all the fats we've eaten, how in the hell can it be the saturated animal fats that are causing the heart disease epidemic when that's all we consumed and we didn't have heart disease as a problem? How is it even possible?
So I'm talking about 2025 projections. I hope this becomes more prevalent. Just these talks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, another thing that recently happened as we keep the lines open. Oh, wait, hold on. I have this. You want to talk about the Great Denial? Mm-hmm. This is from Harrison Smith, actually last week, just before Christmas. He said, WTF, what is happening? So you have RFK Jr., of course, on Howie Mandel's show. That was from a while ago.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You heard that exchange? Well, here's a little bit of the transcript. Howie says, they never said you won't get COVID if you go and get the shot. RFK says, I saw a tape yesterday of all of them saying it. Can I play it for you?
Of course they did, yeah.
And then Howie says, no, wait. It doesn't even matter. He like jumps before he goes and gets the media. But outside of that, what we're seeing a lot more with people are comments like this. This is from a woman named, all anecdotal, but it's happening. Mm-hmm. There was no quarantine. The bars were closed for a few weeks in the spring of 2020. Kids got out of school for summer a few weeks early. They weren't in solitary confinement, and schools were hybrid by fall. People have constructed a fairy tale of things that simply did not happen.
Wow.
Dude, this is where
they're not trying to whitewash ancient history now. They're trying to whitewash a few months ago now. Wow.
This other woman says in very condescending kind of a, condescending way, I should say. She says, bro, it was reported very early on that it was most likely a lab leak. You good?
People got nuked for saying that.
Nuked. Absolutely nuked.
Wow.
I mean, this stuff has been happening. So there was no lockdown. They never claimed that the shots stopped the disease, and they always said it was always a lab leak. I mean, it's crazy.
I believe there's a side-by-side right now of Anthony Fauci saying it stops transmission, you can't get it. And then juxtaposed with just like a few weeks ago where he's like, so I got COVID 3 times and I've been shot up the ass, 19 times, so I don't really know what's going on.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
This is supposed to be the top mind.
It's right in your face.
And then when you say other things like, well, I very distinctly remember I would say a conga line of television talking heads like Rachel Maddow
said it.
Who was the most blatant.
Yep.
And when you bring that up, they go, well, she's a news anchor. She's not a doctor. I was like, wait, she's reading prepared statements. She's reading notes that are coming from the CDC. She's reading notes from the doctors.
You can't have it both ways. She can't be news and then at the same time use being an entertainment show as a defense in court. Like you're one or the other.
The privileges.
And people looked to her during COVID, for whatever reason, right? Outsourcing your basic level of common sense to someone like Rachel Maddow, who makes an obscene amount of money to lie to your face. And you outsource your intelligence to her and you go and take a medication because she tells you to?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. All right, here, let's take a call. Let's see here. 585, you're on the air. What do you got for us? 2024 remembrances, 2025 projections? Go ahead.
No, I actually have a question about the oil here. Oh, my gosh, I got to mute my TV here.
Okay.
You talked about the different oils being bad to boiling or whatever and causing colon cancer. And I didn't have colon cancer, but I was a polyp making machine for like 3 or 4 years where I had like 10 polyps at a time, where I had a colonoscopy every year. And that started, and I'm 64 now, but we fry things, and I do my turkey, and I do it in peanut oil.
Yeah.
Is peanut oil a good thing or a bad thing?
Let me give me 1 second.
That's what I told Jay, that I only deep fry one thing a year, and that's my Thanksgiving turkey, and it's usually in peanut oil. So
I just want to see something before I make a. So the thing you always want to look for in any oil, and so this is like just a general rule of thumb. And if I can find peanut oil, I found it. Okay, so what you want to look for is something that's as low in polyunsaturated fat as possible. And so peanut oil is okay, but it's in a similar ballpark to sunflower oil, which means it's mostly polyunsaturated and monounsaturated. And to make a long story short, polyunsaturated fats are likely during heat or light able to be oxidized, which is damaged. And then when they enter the body damaged, they can cause all kind of inflammation.
Are
and
those
they can
free
wreak
radicals?
havoc. Yes, that's where they start. So peanut oil is only about 15% saturated. So the rest is monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. So you just really want to stay away from all those. And I'm looking at a list right now. Basically, you want to stay away from your peanuts, soybean. And when you're talking about cooking, you even want to stay away from sesame, sunflower, safflower, and canola. You want to just stay away from those. Olive oil, there's some debate about that, and I don't know the answer because some research shows that the polyphenols that are unique to olive oil can protect it during the heating process. And it's a very small amount of polyunsaturated. It's more monounsaturated. So it's even by nature, it's less likely to be oxidized, and the polyphenols also seem to be protective. So I say, to be safe, you can saute in olive oil, but I really wouldn't do anything with high heat, with anything that's got polyunsaturated fats that are like 30 or 40%. And unfortunately, peanut oil does fall in that category. So you're much better off with like an animal fat like lard or tallow.
All right. So there you go, caller. Maybe for next year, grab yourself a bucket of tallow, and it'll taste just like old school McDonald's.
Oh, good Lord. I have to give up my fried turkey. I don't know if I could do that.
You don't have to give it.
No,
No, you don't have to give it up. You just fry it in tallow, in beef fat.
Yeah.
That'll go over well with my family.
Why?
I bet if you didn't tell them, they'd be like, "This is the most delicious turkey I've ever had."
Don't tell them when they walk up to the deep fryer. All they're going to see is oil in the deep fryer. They're not going to know anything.
It's true.
Beef fat, or what is it called? Tallow?
Tallow, yeah.
I'm going to have to look into this.
You got to call back and you got to call back and let us know how that goes. I want to hear, because it's going to change your life in terms of taste.
Yeah, do a test fry and get back to us. Email me if anything. Okay.
All right.
There you go.
You guys have a good night.
You too, and Happy New Year. Okay, let's see. 2024, guys. Let's not talk about seed oils all night. Okay,
it just happens, Frank. It just happens.
Well, you're in studio, so everybody wants to get their health right. See, Cody, you're on the air. Go ahead. Cody,
hey, what's up, Frank?
How you doing, Cody?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. So, what do you got? 2024 thoughts? 2025 predictions? Go ahead.
Well, not really. Kind of boring in that regard, but have you ever thought of having Chris Bledsoe on your show? I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No,
story,
I don't know. Maybe if I saw a face, I don't know. Okay, but if you have a guest suggestion, you can send it to me in an email if that works, because I always love guest suggestions. Whatever you do, send a link to like something that they do so I can watch them. That would be good.
Yeah, I'll do that soon.
All right, thanks.
Cool deal,
Anything you want to say? You want to wish everybody a Happy New Year?
Oh, heck yeah. Happy New Year.
All right. Well, cheers to another year of you calling in, my friend. Thank you.
That name was familiar.
All right, good night.
Take care.
That name was familiar, and I want to say it was on. He was maybe on Art Bell or something, but he wrote a book, UFO of God. So it was I don't know if he's a ufologist, but he has some interesting stories.
Chris Bledsoe.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it.
I see it right here. UFO of God: The Extraordinary True Story of Chris Bledsoe.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard it somewhere.
True story of love, hope, lies, deception involving NASA, the CIA, a string of professors, and the church.
All the good stuff.
Wow. Well, all right. Let's take a call. 319, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Frank. Love your show. Husband and I both do. And I know you just said make it about 2025. So I guess I'll ask my question this way.
Yeah.
Is duck fat going to be good for us in 2025?
Duck fat sounds good.
It's going to be fantastic
Sounds
in 2025. Enjoy it.
Well,
I was wondering about the guy that was asking about the turkey. Can you fry a whole turkey in duck fat? Does it? I mean, I don't know what the temperature is. I know it's going on French fries, which we shouldn't probably be having, right?
It's a good question. Let me hang on. Give me a second.
wait, but that's temperature, you mean?
Yeah, certain fats, they have a really high, what do you call it?
Smoke
high,
point.
Smoke point. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's not generally 375 across the board for deep frying?
No, it depends on the oil.
Oh, it does, huh?
Yeah. But duck fat is going to be in a category that's pretty positive. Very low in polyunsaturated fat. It's about half and half saturated and monounsaturated. So it has a very similar profile to chicken fat and turkey fat. So not as good as beef, but definitely a good option, and definitely one that would be better than any of the vegetable oils. Absolutely.
Again, Cynthia, what you have to do now is you have to email me whenever you do a test fry on something. Go out and buy 2 Cornish game hens for you and your husband and deep fry them in duck fat and let us know how it tastes.
Well, duck fat, you can drink that and you're just fine. It's delicious. But other than that, also in 2025, by the way, this is another 2025 statement here in question. I was wondering about, we've been making tallow out of hamburger. Now, you said that the hamburger or the ground beef is your best bet for a fat if you've got to have a fat and you don't know the origin. Does that hold true for the tallow that you'd be making also?
It would. Yeah, fat is generally speaking going to be where any kind of toxins or anything like that are stored. But it seems that from some of the research that ruminants, because of their unique digestive system, tend to not bioaccumulate things like glyphosate and things like that. And again, the overall polyunsaturated fatty acid content of beef is low. And so even though there's a difference between grass-fed and grain-fed, since the absolute value is low, it's not really going to impact the diet very much. In fact, like almonds have way more polyunsaturated fat as a totals, omega-6. So yeah, if you're rendering beef fat from the beef that you're eating, I think that's a pretty good choice.
Well.
Oh yeah, you're so smart. I love you.
Okay, Cynthia. Well, yes.
Oh, I just want to say, my husband and I are extremely loyal to you, and we watch you all the time, and we love your show. What would we do without you?
Well, thank you. I can say. Without people like you, what would I do? I mean, so thank you. And I'm really looking forward to another season with you guys. My seasons are 12 months long. It's not like any other television show that you watch where you get 18 episodes, then
reruns.
See you next year. Reruns till next year. So I can't wait until season 19 begins in a couple of days. So thank you so much, Cynthia, and all the best to you and your husband.
Yeah, you too. You take care now. Bye-bye now.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
You're chasing The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little farther behind.
Yeah, everybody is.
My gosh. Okay, so listen, it's 8 o'clock. Wow. It took us a lot longer to get there this time. Mm-hmm. We should do this more often in the new year.
We have to just wipe out the whole intro of the show.
Yeah, well, why?
I know.
Again, a couple of different announcements, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, absolute tops. But it really is just an old school thing for me. You want to talk about 18 years ago, about around then, like whenever I was live on Ustream, and I said this before, I had the option there, and I kind of do with OBS. So I guess if I start streaming, I can let it run for 15 minutes with nothing but royalty-free music and letting people just accumulate in the chat room and hang out, and then just record, but that'll just be for podcast. Everything else will have 15 minutes of fluff at the front of it.
So you could maybe put a time marker when the show actually starts.
Perhaps. Perhaps I can.
Yeah.
But that was an old thing. You know, I back with Ustream, you could stream without having it recording onto their servers.
Yeah.
So I would do the pre-show. We actually did karaoke I would do karaoke and stuff like that.
That's fun.
Yeah, so I just like giving people a little bit of time to get their asses in their seats.
I like that idea though, Frank, for 2025. You know, think about that. And then you can just put a marker in the notes when the show starts. So for people who are watching it on the replay, they know where to jump ahead to.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. All right. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going on a really quick intermission break. It's the last intermission for 24. And I just want to say again, you guys are my main sponsors. I would love to bring on more business sponsors in 24 for not only this beautiful studio every night, but for book club, for film club, things like that. It'd be really, really special to bring on some more help from American businesses out there. But the lifeblood of this show is you guys and gals at home. The $5 a month sponsors, the $10 a month sponsors, whatever is comfortable for you, whatever is sustainable for you, that is what really makes this show roll. So if it has become a nightly tradition in your family to gather around whatever device you're listening to or watching, I'd love for you to be part of what keeps this thing rolling. And if you sign up before January 1st, you're going to get not only, like I said, the coins, the stickers, the Polaroid, whatever. I'm going to send you so much stuff, whatever the hell it is inside of those. And also Christmas cards. I'm going to send you the family Christmas card. We got about another 100 that are going out soon. I'll be doing mail until the middle of January. So please become a sponsor in 25. And I promise you, you're not going to regret a nickel that you pledge, because I'm going to kick my own ass to make this work better for everybody. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, because the second half is going to be full of 2023 predictions. We'll see how off the mark people were. And then 2025 projections. Let's do it. Don't go anywhere.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly, guys.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
So everybody watch. Quite frankly. With Frank.
Classy show. It's almost New Year's Eve. I have to go buy the cold cuts tomorrow.
I didn't know you were a crooner.
I like cold cuts on New Year's Eve.
I need the Genoa salami.
Barry White is in the house.
That's right. It's New Year's Eve, baby.
Oh.
Everybody needs some salami on New Year's Eve.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just the guy to bring it to you. You want some Swiss, or do you want some provolone?
Yeah, you're killing me over here.
It's New Year's Eve.
That's right. It's going to be a lot more voice modulating in 25 as well.
You're committing to that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I must get around to that.
My favorite thing is, just so you know, the deep one is funny, but there is literally no scenario where the high-pitched one does not make me laugh wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. I'm in my apartment listening to the show.
You mean this?
Exactly. I can't. There's no scenario where that's not funny. There's no scenario. There just doesn't exist. So I just want you guys to know in the audience, you know, you may see me as part of the show, but I listen just like you guys do, and I'm just a fan of the show. And when I'm home doing something or working or trying to get something done, and Frank's on in the background, and I hear that thing poke through, I lose it every single time. Every time.
It makes me. I feel. It makes it. You know what it is? Because when I feel like, okay, I need to bring this in for some reason. My voice is not enough. It needs to be. There needs to be something else here.
This needs a fine point.
For that moment when I'm in that other voice, I'm actually more part of the audience than I am the host.
Interesting.
And I'm enjoying it from an outside standpoint because I don't hear myself.
Oh, that makes
and it
perfect
makes
sense.
it funny to me.
It is.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. Just so you know, don't ever stop. That's one of my favorite parts.
Listen, whatever pleases me, I'm going to continue to do. We got some super chats here. Stove Soup says, good evening, Frank and Jay. Great to see you guys. Always loving the show. Even more when Jay is in the house. We need more J Gulinello in 25.
Okay.
At least once a month, as long as you're living in New York. Agorizer says Jimmy Carter's positive is deregulation of airlines, trucking, and rail. Reagan gets credit as it happened in his term, but it was Carter's doing. Okay.
There you go. Excellent. A little history lesson. I like that.
Yeah, and listen, I would like to read more and more about people and things and eras that you know how it is for people that there are just certain subjects that are reduced to a couple of different generalized talking points.
Absolutely.
That just at least assists you in bridging gaps. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Carter is one of those things for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of threading on him. What, you know, the real Jimmy Carter, and I don't know.
Especially over time, it tends to become oversimplified. And it's just, so then it becomes really hard to understand the nuance, and obviously that's where the truth lies.
Yeah. Zoso Dude says a 10-year-old girl traced the lineage of every U.S. president back to King John of England, with one exception, Millard Fillmore. Get out of here. See?
I have heard things like that before. It's fascinating if that's true.
See?
I know that, I'm correct in saying I believe Bush and Obama are related in some way.
I've seen that too.
I've never, that's not my area, but fascinating if true.
But isn't it 6 degrees of separation? Has everybody linked?
I suppose. Certainly to Kevin Bacon.
To Kevin Bacon. Jay Britt says, happy 25, Frank. And Jacqueline.
Excuse me?
Are we going feminine now? By the way,
I need one of those voice modulators. Excuse me?
What?
By the way, Jay Brett says, I hate this show. Oh. Thank you.
That's going to be the thing for 2025.
Well,
that's going to be the sign off.
I know.
Frank, I hate the show.
I know that you are not a, hold on a second, typo negative. I know that you're not a typo negative fan.
I just haven't had much exposure to them. Actually, you've exposed me more to them than anybody else, and I think it was the Christmas party where you playing some stuff at the Christmas party. Was that typo negative?
Hold on. Yeah, typo negative.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
But let me see here. It was, now typo negative, I believe they had a live album. Oh. It was in their contract with Roadrunner or somebody back in the day that they had to put out a live album.
Yeah.
But they didn't. I guess maybe from the money. I don't know what the hell it was. They produced a live album in studio. And they brought in all fake audiences and stuff. And they deliberately brought in audiences that were jeering them. So part of their live album, you hear the chanting from the audience, "You suck, you suck." and he comes and you hear, I got to find
that is too funny.
"You suck" chants. Let me see here.
I wonder how the record label responded to that.
Well, it's awesome. I love it, and he's Peter Steele is kind of like going back at the fake audience, saying, I got to find it now. But that's just one of those things where, obviously, after that record came out, whenever Typo Negative went out live gigging on the road, the real, true core audiences, they would all chant "You suck" before they came out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to say to the audience right now, for whoever's listening, I think that's a great sign off, Frank,
I hate this show.
Frank, hate the show. I just think that's how you know you're a true hardcore audience.
Well, you know what it was? I was telling Lauren about it. I was talking with Lauren, I don't know, maybe it was earlier on today. And that clip came up because I sent it to myself so it can be here on this computer now. And I said, Laura, as soon as she said it.
For those of people who are not listening, who weren't listening that night, Aurora, when asked about what she thought of, you have the clip?
Hold on, I got the clip. Here you go. Wait a second.
Just so everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah. Let me turn this off. What do you think that we should do to entertain people at home?
I hate this show.
Oh my God. So I don't look at the chat room, man. Now she's kind of brought that with her. So yeah, she's kind of brought the viciousness from.
It's great. It's just so funny.
She became the voice of the masses that night.
Yeah, yeah.
And I told Lauren, I said, as soon as she said it, the first thing that went through my mind is, of course. But the second half of that, of course, is this is that clip is going to live forever now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just forever.
But eventually she's going to be embarrassed by it.
Maybe, perhaps.
Not as a teenager.
Perhaps not as a teenager. She'll be thankful. She'll be thankful that she did it.
I knew it.
And but it'll become a GIF one day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure,
Without a doubt. Oh, yeah.
We'll see what
those are those beautiful organic moments in a show like this that really thrives on truly authentic and genuine interactions between host and guest and people in the room. You can't plan them. You can't make them up. That's just what happens. And that's the beauty of, as you always say, live radio.
That's it. It's out there forever now. And it's just part of it. It's part of the history. The first real functional appearance on the show, she's sitting there. And it's just the way she said it, because she went, I hate this show. She had that kind of like, she had that head bob. Like, you...
If you weren't my daughter.
If you weren't my daughter, you wouldn't be in here. Anyway, you can send more super chats to quitefranklysuperchat.com. It's the last show of the year, and I'm going to be reading your Rumble rants in just a moment too. See if anything. Hey, would you blow me? Says, may Jimmy rest in piss. Oh, geez, I've been wondering when they'd roll him out. Think about what they may be trying to hide. Howdy, Junior.
I always think about that. Whenever anyone's allowed to die, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah. Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That will always be an incredible debate about what was really going on there, because if she really had been dead for a while beforehand, or somebody was filling in for her, because it's not very hard to find a Ruth Bader Ginsburg look-alike.
Or just a mask with a bunch of wrinkles on it.
She was...
The older you get, the easier it is to mimic with a mask.
It's just that she had so many colleagues that would have had to go along for it.
It's true.
I
mean, the Supreme Court does take a decent amount of recess, but you're right. I mean, you can only hide it for so long. That's true. But, sometimes you only need a few months. I don't know.
That was forever.
It was.
That was forever. I mean, the palliative care that we were listening to, the liver stents and all that stuff, we were learning about end-of-life palliative care updates forever. She's getting rushed out of her office. She has a fever, chills and fever constantly. We're getting, I think, and of course, because it might have been because of, when did she die again?
I don't even remember. I'm so terrible with the dates.
It's becoming a blur. Braves Piano on Rumble. On quitefrankly.tv, powered by Pilled. Sent some cookies. Porpoiseful as well. Stephen and Lori says, always a great conversation when Jasper drops by. Thanks, Frank. Sean Joe, thank you. NX17 says, always so nice when Jay's here. Love you guys. CB Joey says, great episode so far. Love when Jonathan Gulinello is the guest. Foxy Lady, thank you. Bronze tier subscriptions. CB Joey says, I am 30 minutes behind, or so behind. That dream story is nuts. It's something I'll always remember because it was very vivid and everything, and it was the very rare time in my life where there was such synchronicity after I woke up from the dream in the days that followed.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the coolest part, is when it bleeds into reality. Then you really start to question things, because we all have weird dreams, and you wake up and you kind of go, oh, that was weird. But when it starts to, that must have been not deja vu, but that kind of like, I don't know what that feeling even is.
There was something quantum mechanically pure about it all.
There you go. Yeah.
There was something quantum at play.
Quantum entanglement.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Stoves Tube sent a whole sleeve of cookies. Winston Dave says, just don't grease up the cards, Frank, with the cold cuts. I know. Don't grease up the cards. No, I don't. Well, yeah, the salami gets greasy. The prosciutto that can
Frank, stop.
I'm sorry. Jay, I'm about 23 hours and 15 minutes fasted right now.
Proud of you.
I don't think I'm going to make it.
You're going to make it.
I need an omelet or something, Jay.
I'm not saying you're not going to get hungry, but you're going to make it. The first day is always the hardest.
What happens when your hands go numb?
Oh, that's bad. No, it's, you're fine.
We'll see what happens.
Everything's going to be wonderful.
Anyway, because I wanted to get this done before. I wanted to do this at least once before the year ended.
Yeah.
Because I want to mix this in 25.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Brewbark says when Aaron Carter That's another thing.
Interesting connection.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
When Carter signed the Civil Service Reform Act in 1978, he gave the deep state a home with the SES. Yes,
That's
the senior executive service.
Yep.
CB Joey says, I solved it. It's Jamiroquai Gulinello.
Oh, man, what was that song?
That's new.
The Jamiroquai song. The famous one.
Oh,
Virtual Insanity.
Virtual Insanity.
Yeah, that was a cool video, too.
We would cover that. We covered that song a couple of times.
Wow, yeah. Remember the video with the conveyor belts and all that?
It's a very good groove.
Classic, yeah.
Hold on. It's a very, very...
Oh, you got it?
Wait.
I was going to give the audience a little trivia. Do you know when Leonard Nimoy died?
With this. We covered that at a couple of gigs, and it was good.
Sure, it's a room pleaser.
Yeah, well, I mean, for those who... That was great. Didn't that song get on the Godzilla soundtrack in 1999?
Oh.
That was a pretty good soundtrack.
Yeah. I remember that movie. Was that the one with Matthew Broderick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1999. Hold on. Godzilla soundtrack 1999. The album. Let's see. All right. Heroes, Wallflowers.
Oh yeah. Wallflowers.
Come with Me. Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page.
Jeez.
When they took Kashmir. Come with me.
I hated that so much.
I hated it too.
He's such a talentless hack. Sorry, anybody that likes Puff Daddy's music. I never thought he was any good. I really never saw what people thought of. I just didn't get it. But
Deeper Underground, Jamiroquai.
Okay.
That's it. It wasn't Virtual Insanity.
I thought they were kind of a one-hit wonder, but
I think Brain Stew was on this too. Yep, Green Day. It was a Brain Stew.
Okay.
A Godzilla remix. What else we have here?
Well, that band lost their mind too, huh?
Ben Folds 5.
Ben Folds 5, yeah. I remember
Air. Looking, yeah. Well, I mean, actually, it doesn't look as good of an album as I remember. I just remember those.
Hindsight.
Well, the Come With Me song, that was everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about MTV? That music video was every other play.
That's like when Aerosmith did that Super Bowl when they were trying to become relevant and they paired up with NSYNC, and I was like, guys, there's no need for this. You're a classic rock band. You're a great band. You're always going to have your hardcore audience. Stop doing things like that. It becomes so dated because you knew NSYNC was a flash in the pan, and I just felt the same way. It's like, dude, you're Jimmy Page. Come on. If he's bringing something legit to the table, okay. But that was ridiculous.
I know.
It was just Kashmir without Robert Plant, one of the best parts of Kashmir. So, I mean, no thanks. I mean, no thanks.
Here's the crazy thing, and the sad thing is that the first time that a whole generation of children heard that riff.
You're right.
Heard that riff from Kashmir.
Hypnotic.
It was Puff Daddy.
Oh, that Puff Daddy song. That's like when Vanilla Ice did.
Yeah, I love Puff Daddy.
It's like when Vanilla Ice ripped off the Under Pressure riff, one of the most famous bass riffs of all time, and people think when they hear the Under Pressure riff, they think Vanilla Ice. And I'm like, good God, that's Queen and David Bowie. And all you think of is Vanilla Ice?
You sons of bitches, you dirty bastards.
It's unacceptable.
I know. Well, at least you know what? Vanilla Ice, he's a legend now too. He sells homes. He flips homes.
He does, doesn't he?
Good for him. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? Real quick for you, Jay. I saved this. I got an email from a guy named Drew. He said, Frank, I have a friend who's a history geek, particularly early American history, and I mentioned your reenactment of Washington's death.
Ooh.
He insinuated that there were rumors that he was Washington in bad shape and had even had significant dementia at the time. Also, bloodletting was perhaps an early version of how people use morphine today to humanely and relatively painlessly help people pass away.
Interesting.
I thought it was really interesting that maybe the doctors weren't as dumb as we think and knew exactly what they were doing. Personally, I think we tend to underestimate our ancestors. I hope you have a great holiday and look forward to the shows in the new year.
Well, I mean, all I can say is, I have no data to support that, because that was just a case report of the death based on the notes. But
didn't they use like mercury or something? What was the gargle?
Yeah.
I mean, there are just some things that with clinical studies that were not possible.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can attribute it all to that, but obviously because I don't know, I can't get inside the heads of these people, and certainly they were cutting edge at their time. I mean, because they're taking care of George Washington, so they were cutting edge of their time. But you also just have to understand that their knowledge was just so limited that I said this on that show. I think that maybe some of the things that I think will become seen as archaic in 100 years when they go, oh, that guy didn't even know X, Y, or Z, right? Because it's unknowable. That's not the only reason. I remember there was somebody sent in somebody who works in the science field made a little joke, and I didn't get it until after. I wasn't saying that that's the only reason I would make a mistake. I make mistakes all the time, but that's one of the reasons that I would make a mistake.
Gotcha.
Because it's just unknowable at this time in history. And so, but I think it's a very interesting theory. Wouldn't it be interesting if we had some corroborating evidence? If that history teacher has any documentation, I would absolutely love to read it because I'm, huge into that stuff. So
yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there. I have a couple other extras. Here's another extra. Now, this time of year, I mean, Matt's not here and I wasn't able to do my research. I'm sure it's out there, but I wanted to at least get one story like this in, and then we'll pick back up like we normally do next December, God willing. But, every year there's an annual report about people who have things stuck up their butts, their asses, and they have to go to the emergency room to get them removed. And we were talking about like lampshades, weird, strange stuff. Well, I have one for everybody this year. This comes from an audience member who has only given me the first letter in their name, M, because I believe that they are a nurse and they work in this field. They say, Frank, I know you have your annual things people put in their butts list coming up soon, so I thought I'd share one that we got at work. This guy came in around the beginning of the year with a glass paperweight in his butt. If you look closely at the x-ray, you can see the surgical staples in his abdomen. Those are from a surgery he had 2 weeks prior to the paperweight incident because he had a softball that had to be removed from his rectum. If you share this story, please don't share my name because HIPAA. The paperweight was one of those glass ones with the little blue bird inside of it. Lord. Might not be exciting as some of the other stories, but I thought it may be of interest. Happy New Year to you, and thanks for all that you do.
It's the repeat offender aspect that's getting me.
The fact that you okay. Now again, like I said last year, that somebody needed to have this gigantic thing, this gigantic sphere. They needed it. I don't even want to imagine the process of even trying to get it up there. But the fact that they had 2 weeks prior to this gotten a softball up there, I wonder if it was like a green dot or something like that. And it was like, they had to cut you open. You still had staples in there, and you put a paperweight. I just don't get what the hell's wrong with people.
Can we agree that it's obviously not an accident, the first one?
No, you didn't fall on this thing.
So then you got to start to ask some serious questions that we can't ask because there are kids in the room probably. But
right.
And then I guess I'm assuming then he went for something narrower. So he's trying to figure something out in the process. I should have asked Nurse Jenny about what's the strangest thing she's ever seen. She was an ER nurse for 20 years.
Nurse Jenny's got to call in one night and tell us. She has to.
Strangest thing found in a rectum. Go.
Here's another. Now that we're on to like extra bits before we get into this, I got to ask you, how do you sleep at night? Are you a side sleeper?
I actually am all sleeper. I don't know. Omni sleeper. I fall asleep on my back, but I generally like in the middle of the night will roll over to my side.
Okay.
Why?
Because I don't know how it came up. I was talking with Lauren, and it was a funny conversation because we were wondering, like, I don't know how it came up, like how people sleep or whatever. And you must have come up in conversation or something because we were talking about your beta program and all that stuff and shit recently. But I think we were wondering that, like, if you ever needed a place to crash, and like we said, well, Jay, you can sleep on the couch in the living room or something like that. We wondered, how would we find you if we needed like to come downstairs for something in the kitchen and we noticed that you were sleeping? And we came up with 3 possibilities, Lauren and I. And the 3 possibilities, my first thing that came to my mind was, I bet you any money he's just going to lay on his back with his eyes closed like he was in a coffin. like coffin pose, just laying there.
It's a good guess.
Just whatever. Lauren, Lauren had the funniest suggestion because the
He's
effort.
going to tell me a lot about what Lauren thinks of me.
Well, she thought that she envisions you sleeping sitting up. But the reason why it was funny to me,
Eyes open.
The reason why it was funny to me was she's not talking about sitting up and leaning against the couch. She's talking about sitting up independent
Straight
of the
up
couch.
sitting up, exercising my back muscles.
No back support, but you're actually sleeping. Okay. And then I thought. Then the third thing I thought was I thought that was hilarious. Just
hilarious.
walking in on you like sleeping in a living room somewhere, but you're sitting up. Eyes closed. Eyes closed might be funny, but eyes open would be hilarious.
Lauren, where are my hands in that scenario? Are they like
on your lap?
Okay, just okay.
On your lap,
Like
and
an old lady
you're
just sitting in a rocking chair. Okay, got
and
it.
the third thing I thought was like Michael Keaton Batman, where you're hanging upside down like a bat.
I was just gonna say that. I would have brought over gravity boots and just hung from something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Sleeping like a bat.
I'm just
again.
getting some spine decompression. Don't mind me while you're going to the bathroom.
Lauren just texted me. She texted me. She said, LMAO. She said, I just hopped on just in time for the how do you sleep question. And she said, sitting up, always ready. So I thought the
High
sitting
alert. High alert.
I thought that was.
Nice, Lauren. That
Yeah.
made me laugh. That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's good.
All right, here's a couple more super chats. Then we're getting into our projections. Stephen and Lori, thank you again. Sean Joe Delona sends an EMP and says maybe a Jason. No, I don't know if it's Jason, but Delona with 2 EMPs. I love you so much. Thank you so much. In fact, Delona, I think Delona is the person. She sent us a Christmas card. And I think that she admitted to me in a Christmas card that she's the one that had mistakenly sent me all of the dish detergent.
Revealed.
Yes. They haven't. It hasn't.
Her clothes are filthy.
I
Her
don't know what
dishwashing
she's been
detergent.
doing.
Her dishes are filthy.
The dishes are no. There's clothes detergent too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's dishwashing and clothes.
Our whole house is just a mess.
That's it.
Frank, I can't clean anything.
I tried giving it away. Nobody wanted it. Thank you, Delona, so much. CB Joey says a fleet in honor of Javier.
You know, if you guys keep guessing, eventually you're going to stumble upon it, and then the game's going to be over. I'm just saying.
I'll just tell you something. In the Gilded, a couple people, some have found it.
Oh, okay. So now it's just fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's just how insanely, creative can the guesses get.
It's just funny.
Okay. That's great. I love it.
CB Joey, EMPs. Now I'm getting blasted over there. Thank you so much, you guys. The gold pills in the chat room, especially on quitefrankly.tv, that goes directly into network production and funding the editing and everything else of the newsletter. It is I'm telling you, giving to the show, so much of it goes into reinvesting into new projects and making old projects even better, and trying to pay people respectably for the help. That's what I just envision more and more of, to be able to do that. Obviously, I'm able to feed my family, and it's a real blessing too. But thank you so much for everybody over there. Merry Christmas late to Frank and fam. Merry Christmas, Joshua Gulinello. Jay, just because, says, here's 38 2/3 cookies, my whole balance. Happy New Year. It's like the end of It's a Wonderful Life. CB Joey says, Jace? Final answer. No, it's not Jace. CB again says, it's okay to eat eggs every day for breakfast. Is that true? I eat eggs and yogurt for breakfast and meat for lunch.
That sounds fantastic to me.
Yeah. What's the most gold pills you've ever received in one stream? You're killing me. This is probably going to be it. I'm going to get a text from Matt from pill.net. No doubt about it. I'm going to get a text. He said, Frank, you just broke records for the entire platform.
Sweet.
That's what will happen. It's happened before.
I put Quite Frankly on the map.
Yeah. Winston Dave, thank you for Fleet. Another contribution to the record. It really is. It's a wonderful life. CB, again, we're going to break 100,000 gold pills. I can't believe you all. Thank you so much, Sean Joe. Thank you, guys. I'm going to do something special for you guys on. Again, most of you are probably sponsors on through Pilled, which you can be. Always remember, if you get a subscription through there, check your DMs. That's where I send you the links to all of the exclusive streams, all of the Sundays streams and everything else. Please stay on top of it, because that is a very legitimate way to support the show. All right. Here we go. In 2023, Let's get it up here. Here is, here's 23. No, here we go. Are you ready for this, Jay?
I'm ready.
All right. I wanted to sneak peek the 24 predictions before last year. This is from Kenny. I truly believe we will see a state secession. So that, or a state that will at least take dramatic attempts to secede from the Union, and strongly I believe it'll start with Texas. Did not happen.
No.
This may start a snowball effect with the other states and pit themselves against the federal government. With all the miscarriage of justice, election interference, removing Trump from the ballot, and the Biden regime actually blocking states from enforcing immigration law, I think we're going to reach a tipping point. You know what? This might have been a alternate 2025.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yep.
All right, here's the next one. That didn't pan out. Linda, and thankfully so. I'm glad when a lot of these things don't pan out.
Sure.
Linda in New Jersey says 2024 will see the end of the Federal Reserve.
Oh.
Well, maybe you're only a couple of years early on that, but no, that did not happen, Linda. Enlivening Justice in Nebraska says High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HARP.
Mm-hmm.
The diabolical button pushers behind the HARP machine, how they love to toy with us little ants. My prediction is that we will see unusual severe weather, particularly in the Midwest and especially in northern states, abnormal hotter temperatures, and of course blamed on climate change, and there will be much more tornadic activity outside of Tornado Alley, which is actually, the tornadoes have gone outside of Tornado Alley. We've gotten them in New York. We've got stray ones in New York, in Long Island,
and
in Pennsylvania.
Got some strange aurora activities in strange places.
Yes.
So it's not, I wouldn't say that's completely incorrect.
But as global as it's been, HARP would not have been able to do that.
No.
I think that is, I am much more of a subscriber to this is a testament of the weakening electromagnetic field of the Earth.
Agreed.
Whether you believe that we're going to have a geomagnetic pole shift or an actual geophysical pole shift, what you think this is a precursor to, I don't know, but yeah, because people like Brooks Agnew and other friends of ours have even said, hey, they're always ready and willing to saying this is abnormal, this is man-made, but that
because it fits the narrative.
Yeah.
I just hope that, and I love him, Ben Davidson, but I hope everything he predicts is wrong.
Yes. As I said, every time he comes on the show, I always say afterwards, I hope that in 20 years' time, these episodes amount to nothing but some cozy little episodes that never amounted to anything.
Yes, please.
You know?
Yeah.
I like listening to prophets from the 1990s calling into Art Bell.
That is one of my favorite things to do because I'm like, nope.
Yep.
Nope. And they're so sure of themselves.
I know.
You're like, dude, come on.
Well, and not only so sure, but they're talking with a sense of immediacy.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like by 99.
And we've talked about this before. I mean, in Art Bell, depending on what it was, he would buy into it hook, line, and sinker. And you're like, dude, come on.
Here's the thing I will say. He's very right in labeling it the quickening.
Yes.
And when we talk about quickening of events, was there not an acceleration in the 90s leading up to 2001?
Sure.
Was there not an acceleration from 2001 over the next 25 years to where we are right now?
Absolutely.
So when you think about history over the course of linear time, the last 30 years is really nothing. So to say this thing and the other thing's going to happen, of course, you pigeonhole yourself when you say within the next 5 years. Then again, if you're a prophet or someone who is projecting into the future and you want to say, well, one day the world will end, you're also not going to get a lot of attention too.
Right.
You have to be somewhat timely or precise if it is down the road.
Yeah.
But really, when you think about a quickening of events, I think that we are still barreling towards something. And what that is, it's going to be technological in nature because I really do think there's a lot to what people have said about even Atlantis.
Yeah.
Being maybe there was a flood scenario. Maybe there was a geophysical shift that wiped it all out, but maybe it also was a society of high technology that was just taken to the brink by hubris that was automatically, once you hit a certain point of development, you are just automatically, you hit the reset button and it all just washes away.
The Younger Dryas is what really gets me. That's super interesting in terms of burying, which it could have done, buried a formerly technological society on Earth. I think that has a ton of merit because all the flood myths also tend to correlate around that time period. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I just, I love talking about all that stuff. I think the one thing I'll say about Art Bell is that I love his curiosity, and I love his curiosity in all things paranormal and all of those things. But where his curiosity seemed to die,
Climate.
And the thing is, he's
and 9/11.
Very, very intelligent man, which means he's capable of reading research. But every time he would defend his position, and sometimes defend it vehemently as if he knew something, which, sorry, Art, in 2025, now we know you didn't know, or at least you didn't know what you thought you knew. He would always say, well, CNN reports, USA Today wrote. And I'm like, you're deferring to the mainstream media as if it's a source. And that's the mistake that I hear when I re-listen to old episodes. He doesn't cite scientific journals. He's citing mainstream media
And not
sources.
only that, but and even in the 1990s, Operation Mockingbird was already 45 years old.
Absolutely. So that's the part he didn't get. He was one of those people who says, well, 97% of scientists agree. That's complete BS. 97% of scientists don't agree. Most scientists agree that, well, actually all scientists probably agree that climate is changing. That's not the question. It's what humans have to do with it. And then you can pick apart that 97 because that's not true either. And I've seen some excellent research on that where most of those researchers were manipulated, and some of them even outright wrote opinion papers to the journals to say, my name is on this list of 97% of climate scientists agree, and I don't agree. So that whole thing has been fabricated, but like you said, you repeat a lie loud enough and often enough, and it starts to become just the truth. But that's not really the truth. And as we saw during COVID, the best way to get consensus is to silence all the opposing voices. Look, magical consensus, right? We just don't listen to any of the scientists that think something different. So,
yeah,
that was my issue with Art, is that he always brought up these silly news outlets, which I couldn't use in grad school as a cited source. And if I can't use it in grad school as a cited source in science, you can't use that to inform your opinion and be righteous about it.
Who knows how much of it was an act?
Yeah. I never got him as an act kind of guy. He seems so genuine, but you're right. We don't know.
I mean, there is some boomer naivete about trusting the news.
That's what I felt it was.
Now there's a lot of people, a lot of Art's peers that have outlived him that have since outlived their trust of the news as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just that.
Yeah.
But there's that. I just got a tag from Casey Kakalaki in the Gilded. It says, Frank, the extreme weather predictor was right. Look at the Helene, what they did to Western North Carolina and East Tennessee. That shit hadn't ever happened in many of those places. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
We had a lot. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. And Matt from Pilled.net just texted me.
Wow, you are a Nostradamus today.
Yeah, well, listen, what's going on over there with it? I mean, I'm telling you, you can watch the show anywhere, but that's why I love Pilled being right in the middle of Quite Frankly.tv, and it's the only place you can watch the after-hour programming, which is going to be live tonight and every other night. He said, bro, you're going to break the system. Hit that gold pill filter. What the hell happened? So
don't stop. Break the system.
Don't stop it. Anyway, but here you go. So Jeff says, I predict cyber attacks on the banking system and the digidollar as the cure.
We did have cyber attacks, yeah.
We had cyber attacks. There was some banking nonsense this year too, but nothing. We'll see. I think that the rubber's going to hit the road on the currency in the next 4 years.
Agreed. Trump was going to have a lot to say about this, and I think all of us want it to be done the right way, and preferably not digital at all, in my opinion.
Patrick says gold and silver will reign supreme again. Mm-hmm. Well, we saw a lot more. It's going up.
Mm-hmm. Was it you were on with was it Dr. McCutcheon who said so silver is roughly like 32 an ounce last time I checked, like a week ago or so, but on the US debt clock I didn't realize there was down in the corner there was like
it's the decompressed silver,
and that's like 1,500 an ounce.
No, it's close to 4,000. Hold on.
I mean I don't know anything about that, so when I was listening to her I was like, get out of here. Are you kidding me?
So here it is. U.S. debt clock. Let's see. So when we go to the U.S. debt clock, what they have is Let's see here.
The lower right-hand corner, if I remember correctly from the show.
It's the right-hand corner. I'm looking at it. Dollar to silver ratio now. It is $1,162 per ounce.
Okay, yeah.
Dollar to silver ratio, 1913, is $2. Okay, let's see here. 10 year. So they're predicting, and then of course dollar to gold ratio is about 8,491.
Okay.
So pretty much what comes down to this, and I'd love to have that conversation on the show again soon, is that really what depresses the value of cryptocurrency is the kind of stock that is issued, that is backed by. So instead of buying actual physical silver, people are buying silver in stock form.
Okay.
So it's like pretty much paper to paper, which, the issuance of paper is not commensurate with how much silver is being mined out of the earth.
Right.
So that right there is a way that, at least one way that people have told me, it is a way that the actual physical value of silver is depressed. So,
so if that's on the U.S. Debt Clock website, do you feel that that's closer to reality?
Absolutely.
So if that ever becomes reality, anybody who owns a decent amount of silver is going to do pretty well.
Yeah. That's why I think it's good. It's good to have a little bit of a, at least a shoebox or something with some mixed metals in there.
I actually committed myself in 2025 to call your guy, the guy that hosts
Tony
sponsors the show, Tony. Yeah,
Tony at Wise Wolf.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a call. Why not?
Quite frankly, .gold, and he can set people up for monthly buys that are very, very modest. There's no amount that is too little. Whatever. It's one of those things where unless you are like someone like you, I know that where you're living right now is not going to be where you end up.
Right.
So you got to stay mobile. You can't be carrying around 300 pounds of silver until you find a place where you can get it into a vault. That's the whole thing with stacking is like you can, if you're in a place that you are shacked up forever.
Yeah.
You have your security, homes, whatever. And you have your own little bank that you're building up. But most people got to stay mobile. So I would not, if you're trying to get around, I would say don't.
Yeah, I'm
more
thinking
than
the same
25
thing.
pounds.
Yeah, I'm just like gonna do bits and pieces, maybe every paycheck just to get it started. Because if anything ever does happen in a positive way and the actual value is realized, it's like it's gonna net you some nice little profit. So, but anyway, that's not a pitch for anything.
No, listen,
it's just interesting to me.
It's not. We don't. Me and Tony actually don't even have anything formal.
Yeah. He seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Nothing formal. We don't have any. He doesn't buy advertising or anything like that. I just always wanted a gold sponsor that I can work with and just put it on my affiliates page.
Yeah,
that's like I still want to get a cigar sponsor because the last one, as much as I love them, didn't work out. They could not fulfill the orders that were coming in. I ended up having to send out my personal supply to make some people whole. Yeah. I would love a winery, So gold, there's just certain things I always wanted to surround myself with.
Yeah.
And they're just high quality business men and women, and that's what I like. Okay, so let's see here. A little bit more from 2023. Here it is. So gold and silver, it doesn't reign supreme, so nothing really much there. The weather is the most on point thing so far. Tidal wave hits northeast, says Jay Brits. Nope. No, but there was tsunami warnings on the West Coast not too long ago. Patriot Amanda says 2024 prediction, there will be Quite Frankly gathering at the 76 House in Tappan, New York. Nah, it didn't happen. But I would love to do that. I love that place. You would like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would.
There's some good stuff there. Zed Gray says Black Swan, UFO uptick.
Wow, that's kind of true.
Now, the Black Swan event, I don't think we got it this year.
Unless you count the drones.
But the UFO uptick, definitely.
Yeah.
He also said no elections. That didn't work. Yeah. Monetary overhaul worldwide, positive change, asset backed, while BRICS continues to do that. March through June, net positive. Well, March through June was
2024.
I don't remember.
Well, the debate happened there, and we got rid of Biden.
June. Actually, June was like the last sane, stable, kind of quiet month.
Then it went nuts. After that, from the debate to the election was crazy town.
June debate was when we were at the top of the roller coaster.
Yes.
boom.
Yeah.
And then it took off because assassination, everything.
That was really amazing. We had
Nuts.
such a fun night picking that apart. And then you're right. It just accelerated from there.
Mary says, Frank, I think the new Madrid is going to pop off sometime after the April eclipse. I'll catch you on the replay. Thankfully, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see here. Grace and peace. Yo, this is your man, Problematic Will from Maryland, not Massachusetts. I will say at times I'm impressed with your memory regarding dates and years. You also remembered our call and my theory. Thanks for the shout out. Here's another. Jay-Z and Beyonce. Yo.
Keep going.
Okay. I have not read this since last year.
Okay.
This is from Problematic Will. Here's another prediction for you. Jay-Z and Beyonce, connected with Obamas, are major players in Epstein and satanic pedophile ring. Saw a video yesterday noting her recent photo shoots in a white, red, black, pale horse, signaling the advent of Four Horsemen's forthcoming ride. This new information is dripping out slowly with connections to Diddy and to TD Jakes having recently serviced. The rabbit hole is deep, but the truth will soon be revealed. I have repeated your sentiment that B is worshipped like a Pan-African deity. Yeah, Beyonce, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember that Grammys where she was like all in gold and she was swollen with child and everybody.
Yep.
I said, yo, this is fucked.
Yeah.
The hive is real, said Will. Major predictions. The third temple will be rebuilt in Jerusalem. This was my question for 25 because I've been waiting all year about this red heifer sacrifice in Israel. This didn't happen in 24, but Shia and Sunni factions will have a major clash as one will present a false messiah. Iran will be destroyed. This is based on biblical interpretation of Daniel 7 and 8. We'll see. And lastly, if what comes are in fact interstellar craft transporting interdimensional disruptors and haters of humanity, pattern recognition, whenever there's a comet, strangeness ensues. In Christ, P-Dub. That was a very interesting one.
Very interesting. And I mean, we don't know how far this Jay-Z rabbit hole goes, right? I mean, so stay tuned. I don't know what happens. Do you count it if it overlaps 24 and 25? And I got to count it. That's pretty impressive.
That's it.
Wow.
Mike the Quaker says Vedic astrologer Monish says Donald will win the next election with Joe having serious health crisis in spring of 2024. June is spring. You know, spring ends in June.
It does. Yeah.
When was the debate?
I think it was like the 28th or 29th. So it might have been the first week of summer, but it's pretty damn close.
That's still huge. It's in health crisis in spring of 24 and then hospitalization afterwards. There was that thought about him being hospitalized.
Oh, yeah. Like in Vegas, right? When they called, like they had to rush him to somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was pretty big with Mike the Quaker.
Huh.
Ukraine leader will be assassinated in the next few months. No. The war is about petrodollars. China, Russia, Iran will continue to use the currency to sell oil, which will collapse the U.S. economy. China will not make any military interventions or attack, only use subversive tactics against its enemies, such as the pandemic.
You know, I thought China would have attacked Taiwan in the Biden presidency, so I was wrong there, but...
Yes. John from South Carolina says the Cowboys will choke, the Obamas will come out as gay, and the Pope will bless their marriage.
I mean, that's totally legit.
Well, the Cowboys did choke, and
yeah,
whatever. John from Connecticut says between geoengineering, volcanoes, solar activity, normal activity on us. Dominic Jakubowski says, first, Happy New Year. I have a hypothesis with many moving parts. One is a new pope will be elected in October. No. Somewhere around the third or fourth quarter of 2024, European Central Bank will fall. No. World War III, though I think is history, will look back and say we're already in it, will officially start in the Red Sea in a Gulf of Tonkin-style event on a U.S. ship. That's from Tony Coate. So, not quite. Though.
Right region, but not a U.S. ship.
You know what, Jay, would you mind doing a little bit of overtime?
Of course not.
Okay, so listen, here's what I'm going to do. I really have to pee.
You want me to take over?
No, I'm just gonna play a music video.
Okay.
And let me see a music video. Intermission.
That's probably a smart move.
Yeah, let's see here. Suffocate. How long is Suffocate the Dream? Let's do Suffocate. All right. Don't go anywhere. ladies and gentlemen, I'll as soon as I come back, maybe we'll cut the song off. It's not that long, but I'll be right back. We're gonna do more of this. Thank you so much.
There are philosophies I can't believe. There are ordinary lifestyles that aren't for me. Father Time keeps tapping my shoulders with withered fingers. With the risk comes a chance. The path I'm on is turning to a crossroad. Suffocate the train, or escape this reality. The life I want is tangled in the life I need. Suffocate the train, or escape this reality. There's no how-to guide, just uncommon sense. There's a thrill when you ride, but no way to figure out what it meant. Father Time keeps tapping my shoulders with withered fingers. With a risk comes a chance. The path I'm on is turning to a crossroad. Suffocate the train, or escape this reality. The life I want is tangled in the life I need. Suffocate the train, or escape. There's gotta be more to this than where it stands. I wanna do everything I can. I'm so tired of being something I can't stand. I wanna do everything I can. The path I'm on is turning to a crossroad. Suffocate the train, or escape this reality. The life I want is tangled in the life I need. Suffocate the train, or escape, or escape, this reality.
Dingle do. Oh man. Well,
That's a great tune, man.
I'm glad you like it. I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs that we have written in recent years. We're doing stuff.
Yeah.
We're starting to work again. So that's nice as a band.
It's tough, man. You know, it's like you just want to do, like me, you want to do so many things, and I miss playing a lot, you know, and sometimes I miss it more than others. I get so lost in what I do, but it's nice to listen to yourself, take a step back and listen to things you've created and be like, we brought this into the world and it didn't exist before us.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Exactly. And you know, I really would. I just want to play it live again. It's going to happen. I was just, the band was here for the Christmas party, and we were just reminiscing and getting ourselves amped up for getting that other room nice and cozy again for work. And our guitarist is finally getting back into Westchester. He's been out in Long Island because he got priced out of Astoria. So that's
not
a two and a half hour trek is a long time to come for a band practice.
Yeah, it is
on a Tuesday night at 9:00.
Yep.
So we've been on ice for a little while, but I'm looking forward to it in the new year. I've got to make more music. Okay, so here's a couple more 2023s, and then we're gonna 2024 is gonna be what it is. I have let's see here. Wait, let me bring it up again. It is December. No, there. Nice. All right, here we go. Hey Frank, always a day late, but I wanted to share my 24 prediction with you. This is from Vanessa. Over the past few years, there's been an increase in Corpus Christi processions across the United States. Part of it is a response to the Vatican's call for Eucharistic revival. I took part in one of these processions in Bardstown, Kentucky this year. It was very moving and beautiful. As we processed through the streets, heavy storm clouds hung over us and threatened to make the miserable day, but it never rained. When I looked at the radar and the map history after the event, I watched a monstrous green and yellow blob make its way across Kentucky. And when it got to Bardstown, it dissipated and it went around the city at the very hour we began our procession. Coincidence or miracle? Perhaps coincidence is a miracle. Coming up in 2024, there's going to be a national Eucharistic pilgrimage starting in May 17th. The routes go all throughout parts of the U.S., including Manhattan. Even if you don't participate in the full procession and just go for one of your area, it's quite the experience. And okay, so I guess that was that's pretty much it. He says, whether it's publicly seen or quietly changing the hearts and minds of people, I predict a revival. Like being deficient in vitamins or minerals, people are starving for such devotions. They just don't know it. It is my belief that such things will prove to be revelation of their deepest need, which is hope. That's from Vanessa.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, there has been that. That's definitely been a linchpin of my year. From Lauren and I renewing our vows, and which of course was a gateway to me experiencing the fullness of the sacraments again. That's important to me. And of course, it's important to me, and I felt I wanted it, I needed it, and I feel, I don't know, it's been nice.
Yeah.
Prediction from AK: attacks toward Elon Musk from all sides to try to take him out.
Huh.
I think Puff Daddy, says AK, or whatever the fuck he's going by, will be indicted on RICO charges, and there will be an endless sea of accusers coming forward, exposing the way he's treated people. I also think it'll expose Clive Davis and those other billionaires and make their fortunes from entertainment and the sick things going on. Let's see here. People will become millionaires from OnlyFans.
Well, that's probably happened.
Multi-millionaires.
Wait, so this was a prediction from like December 31st of 2023.
Oh, wait a second. No, this was the last December.
So, I mean, was Puff Daddy even remotely?
Well, the last December is when I think the Cassie stuff started coming out.
Okay.
It wasn't until January, February, right? That we started getting the details of that lawsuit.
Okay, maybe. I mean, that's spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, Clive Davis hasn't been, but I mean, come on. I mean, he's the one who put him on the map. So I'm sure there was a quid pro quo there, but wow.
And wait, there's more to the OnlyFans thing.
Oh, okay.
People will become millionaires from OnlyFans and not having to get naked or do sexual things. It'll be the new Patreon. I mean, that's what it was at first, I think.
Oh, was it really?
I think.
It only gained prominence in my mind because of, pornography. But so you're saying there could be a Quite Frankly OnlyFans?
Well, people have been saying that for a while. That'd be funny if I made my show available on there as well, because if I got kicked off of OnlyFans
for not,
what a feather in your cap.
Yeah, I mean, you could also make OnlyFans pure again.
I know. Yeah, whatever. And then here's the last one from AK, which did not happen. YouTube will collapse because Elon will start offering a better amount of money and won't censor them. Well, there's been a lot. Elon's the money thing on Twitter is very weird.
Yeah.
People are making money. Not everybody is. It's a strange thing. That didn't happen. But the Puff Daddy stuff, really, really good. And that's all we have.
Yeah.
from 23. So some hits, some misses, and some really interesting ones that may be 25. You don't know. And with 25, here's just a couple. Here's just a couple that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
My wife predicts that we will discover Atlantis.
Oh, man.
I predict that we will have some sort of major scare event intended to increase control over the Trump administration. I predict as a follow-up that they will ultimately be unsuccessful. I also predict we will have another year of wonderful shows, and quite frankly. So we'll get that. Matt will be engaged to be married. Oh, that would be nice.
Oh.
That would be nice. I wish nothing but the best of everything for Matt. He's a little under the weather right now. Been talking to him. He's so, whatever. He'll be back before you know it. And just keep Matt in your prayers as always. Let's see, because it's transitions in everybody's life, and he's becoming a woman, so that's very hard
It's going to
transition.
be a lot of work, but he'll get there.
Jalen Wenning says, I predict that RFK will call into the show on a Friday that both Matt and Dr. Juan Gulinello are in studio.
Oh, that would be fun.
So, I mean, these are the things that are going on
What do you think
here.
Matt would ask RFK?
Oh, I don't know.
Can we get the audience at some point just to send in some comments on what question could Matt come up with for RFK? I would pay to see that.
I don't know. I'm telling you, but there's a lot. There's a lot in this. And please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm keeping this pinned to the top of the forum. There you have it right there. QuiteFrankly.tv. Go to the forum. New Year's predictions for 2025. Please put it in there. Don't leave it in the comments of the tweet or any other thing where I tweet out the link. Get into the forum. Register if you don't have membership there. It just takes an email address. And just so that we can have these saved for posterity and it's all in one place for next December.
Yeah.
So with that, Jay, before we give some parting shots, would you please give everybody a little bit of an update or anything you want to say to the audience? It's been another year of us hanging out together. You got this beta thing with mostly audience members, direct care. So just, I don't know, give everybody some parting shots of your own.
Well, first we just heard from Nurse Jenny about the strangest thing that she found up somebody's ass in the ER, and it's a can of Pam, the spray.
The spray, cooking spray?
Yeah. And she says that she might have the x-ray somewhere, and she said that he told us he fell on it. That has to be the most used excuse when you show up in the ER with something lodged in your rectum. Oh, I just fell on it.
Yeah, no,
I was walking around the house naked. I mean, it slipped right in. You can tell. I mean, you can see how that could happen, right?
Yes.
The top of the can is very, slippery.
Flat.
Yeah. Slippery. Just whoop right in there.
Very flat top of the can just slipped right in.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, no struggle at all.
I'm sure you guys see this all the time, right? So anyway,
how embarrassing.
Nurse Jenny weighs in for her 25 years of ER experience. And so speaking of that, the direct care model, for anybody who's hearing this for the first time, the super high level overview is just that we want to try to do some healthcare differently. And the idea is that we're not primary care, we're adjunct care, but we do a lot of functional labs, we do analysis, we do a little bit of everything that we've talked about on the show that you guys know me for the past 3 years. Myself and Jenny, who is, everybody calls her Jenny, I call her Jen, so it's hard for me, but she's been in Western medicine for, over 20 years. So her and I have a very different skill set, which is why we complement each other so well. She just finished with her master's degree. She's a psych nurse NP now. So we just have a well-rounded practice together that we round on each other's clients, and we thought, we should do this thing where everybody pays a small subscription fee monthly and they can join in on this community. And it's not going to be like on Facebook. It's like on a platform that's designed for this. And it's going to be locked. So you guys will be like safe and secure, and anybody that's in the program will be, chatting with each other 24/7. Frank, you and Lauren are going to be involved in this.
Can't wait.
So I think there's going to be a lot of benefit clinically from Jen and I, but also socially. And we're going to have links and resources for the kinds of things that we create, content we create, but also content that we consume. So you guys can see how we learn. Because the idea is to make everybody wiser about their health.
And that's on top of the individual attention.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, and the fee is most likely going to be $100 a month. And so anyway, we started this beta program, and I talked about it way back in, I think, May. But we got like 150 emails because your audience is incredible and they care about their health. And your audience, Frank, I got to tell you this, man. I've been on other shows, and when I do a show on other platforms, I see like a little bit of activity, but I never see the amount of engagement, true engagement that I see and experience after an appearance on your show. And I understand I've probably been on your show more than I've been on other shows, but there's no comparison. Your audience is smart and they are engaged and they are genuine and they care. They care about your show. They care about me and they care about themselves. And so we said, let's do this beta program and let's give the Quite Frankly audience a discount. So we're doing like this 90 days, 3 months, because we want to keep it small because it's just Jen and I. So we're going to have to go through everybody's intake, everybody's labs. Like this is just the two of us doing this. Eventually, hopefully it'll be more, but right now it's just that. And we decided to allow about 30 people in. We have 23 in as of right now. So we only got 7 spots left. If you reached out to me at any point from May, June, you should have gotten an email. And we're just asking you to respond to that email. If you didn't get it, check your spam, but look in your email because we went through the whole list and we sent those out. When I talked about this on December 20th, I said, email us and we're going to put you on a waiting list. You're on the first waiting list. And if you hear this tonight, I'll give you the email address. Email us and say, hey, I want to go on that waiting list. And it's not like a long-term waiting list. We're just going to go through the 90 days with the beta people because they're going to help us refine this thing. They're not going to get the full experience, which is why they're going to get a little bit of a discount. We just want to make it as fully functional and smooth as possible, which is why we capped it at 30 to start. But the email address is hrp.resource@gmail.com. hrp.resource@gmail.com. And just say, hey, heard about it on the show, would love to get on the waiting list. And if you've already emailed in the past and you haven't heard from us, you emailed like back in May or June, check your spam or just reach out to us and say, hey, I emailed back in May and we'll find you. But there's only 7 spots left and we're going to cap it, but then we're going to bring everybody in soon after that. And you're all going to get an opportunity to be in this thing. We want it to be inexpensive, accessible, but extremely value driven. Like we really are going to make this our forte. And, we want to make Quite Frankly healthy again. The entire audience deserves this. You guys have done so much for me, and you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on Rumble, you follow me all over the place. This is how we're going to give back to you, by keeping something really low and affordable, but also giving you like top flight personal care.
Hey, you know what? It's how we all throw our hat into the ring for a new world, and that's it. And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Adjunct care is a great way of saying it. So there you have it, everybody. hrp.resource@gmail.com.
Yeah. And then you can find me. Go to every other place, like when we talked about the seed oil thing, you can go on my Instagram, Perpetual Health CO, and I'm always posting there. So if there's something in the news and you're like, I wonder what Jay thinks about this, go to Rumble, go to Instagram. Most likely I've done a video on it or I've written a post about it. So even if you can't access me directly, and I try to get back to people, but it's hard to get back to everybody, but I'm putting that information out there for free. So you'll probably find what I'm doing at one of those places.
Okay. There you want. Hey, and thanks again for a wonderful year of hanging.
Yeah, man, it's been great. Looking forward to more in 2025.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You listen to this. I just got an email from Mary Shelley, and Delona. Delona says, "Hey, Frank, I sent the mini waffle maker and the egg cooker on purpose, not the detergent. Not the detergent, though. I was feeling mischievous, and I figured I might give you. You might give them away or something. Well, I did give away the egg cooker, but the mini waffle maker we have been using."
Yes.
Aurora has been getting her waffles made, and she loves it.
That's how I make the buns for my burgers.
Really?
Yeah. You should look up chaffle recipes, like waffle with a CH, because you make it with cheese. So you get some raw cheese, and you can do it a lot of different ways. Lately I've been doing it with a full can of sardines, an egg, and some cheese. You can make 2 full-size waffles out of that, and then you put your burger in the middle of that.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing. And then you just get a ton of extra protein and healthy fats.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want that.
That burger is so filling you can't even imagine, because you're talking a whole can of sardines, so that's like 20 grams. An egg is 6. And then, 4 ounces of beef is another 20. So you're talking close to 50 grams just in that one burger, and
because even the bun is protein at that point.
You're good to go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Lauren doesn't, when she makes Aurora the waffles on that maker, she's not using like waffle mix. I don't know what she used. It's almost like a different type of cassava.
Oh, so is it like a paleo blend? Like Birch Bender makes almond flour, coconut flour, cassava flour, and they mix it. Yeah, that's great. It lowers the the carbohydrate load, which just reduces the glucose spikes, and it still tastes great. I'm sure Lauren's been doing. I know we were talking. She's been doing a lot of things with cottage cheese. There's some really cool, if you like cottage cheese. Or even if you don't, because you really can't taste it, cottage cheese pancake recipes where there's cottage cheese and egg in a blender, and you put your sweetener and your cinnamon and everything, and you can make some protein pancakes with that, which, again, a child is definitely not going to know the difference. If they look like pancakes and they taste nice, she's not going to know what it's made of.
Right indeed. She's not going to know. What the hell she know?
And those kinds of little things too, by the way, those like little recipe ideas and things like that, that's all like in our mind about what we want to do with this. Like we want to empower people to be able to unplug from the pharmaceutical companies, from the big food, from all the Make America Healthy Again. This is going to be like a homegrown, local version of that, even though we're going to be dealing with people from all around the country, all around the country, all around the globe, hopefully. Your audience is international. So anybody that wants in, just send us a message, and we're gonna try to make this thing roll in 2025.
We're rolling, baby. Here's a couple more super chats from Quite Frankly .tv for my cracker, Jameer Gulinello. EMP from Delona again. I'm getting leveled over here.
Are we breaking records, Frank?
We are.
All right. I was stalling so we could break more records.
It's a good thing. It really is. Another contribution to a record, says Dave, Winston Dave. CB Joey, we're going to break 100,000 gold pills. Let's go. Sean Joe, Okanagan Downhill says, I love you, Frank. I love you, Jack Gulinello. Very cool. NX17 says, we hate this show.
Yes, it's already started.
I know. Chirpin Cricket, who's been watching for, we're getting close to, I don't know, at least maybe 7 or 8 years now. These blessings pouring on your head are due to the fact that I have been praying with others for you. Well, I always keep me in your prayers, ladies and gentlemen. If you have room, keep me in there. And the more I get to know you guys and gals as individuals and what you share on the show, there's more things I keep in my intentions as well. But I can always use the help, and anybody can. So thank you. Squickly says, I predict a rise in consciousness that hasn't been seen in tens of thousands of years.
Yes. You feel something happening.
That's it. I know. Winston Dave again, thank you. D-Daled, thank you. Vesper says, can you feel the love, Frank? I can. Porpoiseful says, bravo. B Triangle, thank you. Winston says, here we go. Let's start the new year fresh. Thank you, Stowstube, Sean, Joe. Everybody's rolling in. Chai Possum says, Happy New Year, Frank and family. Jay and Franklies and Franciscans. Stowstube says, stall away, Jay.
Is B Triangle, does that B stand for Bermuda?
I don't know.
That was the first thing I thought.
It could be. Stowstube just sent an EMP. So I'm getting overwhelmed over here. I'm just thankful.
It's a nice way to end the year.
I'm thankful. A lot of hard work, and it's just good to have these kind of people hanging out with us. Now, over on Rumble, we got rants that are coming in. I don't want to leave before we do it all. Cody117 says, bloodletting is insane. John Lennon even tried to get Paul McCartney to drill a hole in his skull for this reason. Love the Beatles, but I don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, folks. Is that for real?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Jay Semo says, great show. Thank you, Jay. It's been a great year with you. Again and again. So there is that. Now, no more gold pills, ladies and gentlemen, because I have to release the scratching, and it's going to take several minutes to empty it. So let's do that. I don't even know what pills. Oh yeah, that's an incredible feat. And here's what we have going on after the show tonight. For those of you who don't want the fun to end, it doesn't have to end. John Carroll just said, for tonight's show, we got Mark Dice. It's come down to this. Jay Dyer, UFO alien disclosure is a huge lie. There's Jason Burmis. There's Dr. James Giordano. There's Astrum, the big problem of that happened after we nuked space. Modrica, creepy TikToks, and then Art Bell with Joel Martin and Bill Burns, the Amityville horror hoax.
Ooh.
So that's all when this show ends on quitefrankly.tv, powered by Pilled. If you're already there, you don't have to leave anywhere else. If you want to hang out with people in the chat room and watch a collage of really cool stuff into the wee hours in the morning, head over to quitefrankly.tv right now. You have a couple of minutes. Now, here's some parting shots from my professor, Professor Bowling.
Okay.
Whenever his semester would end, he would also give us a sheet called Fall or Spring Parting Shots, and they would be just great quotes from people in history. And that's where I get parting shots from. I use that term a lot. And here are some of the parting shots that he gave his students in fall of 2024. He still sends me the parting shots. First, Blessed Frederick Ozanam. Do not be afraid of new beginnings. You who have energy, who have enthusiasm, who want to do something of value for the future, be inventive, launch out, do not wait. Let's see here. Anais Nin says, we see the world not as it is, but as we are. So, who do we want to be? I guess that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Psalm 61. On the rock too high for me to reach, set me on high. O you who have been my refuge, my tower against the foe. Let's see here. Charles Spurgeon says, we must all learn to hear what we do not like. The question is not, is it pleasant, but is it true? St. John Paul II. Man can know the truth. Truth makes man what he is. We are called to know the truth. It is truth that sets us free. Vince Lombardi. Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yep.
Trevor Signorino says, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about dancing in the rain.
Absolutely.
Seneca. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long if you know how to use it. God. I love this. I love this stuff. Margaret Atwood. What I'm living for and what I'm dying for are the same question.
Wow.
Ronald Reagan. Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in the United States when men were free. B.C. Forbes, a quote from B.C. Forbes, there is more credit and satisfaction in being first-rate truck driver than in being a 10th-rate executive.
Absolutely.
Blaise Pascal, the sole cause of man's unhappiness is that he does not know how to stay quietly in his room. You'd probably be surprised that I'm actually quite quiet outside of this room. You know, I got a yap 2 hours a night, but I like just not saying much.
Do you consider yourself an introvert?
No, I think I got to blend. Is there a way to blend both?
Yes,
because
that's what I think. I forever call myself an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
I recharge on my own, which is a classic, introvert. But obviously both of us are performers and we love that. And I thrive on that and I get energy from that. So it is a dichotomy. I think there is a little bit of both.
Yeah. I know how to work a room.
Yeah.
But, and I take great enjoyment in talking with people and being with people. But solitude is so
essential.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a little bit of both there. Let's see here. And the last one, Coach James Laugren. I think he's from Manhattanville. Your culture is not the highest standard you preach. It is the lowest standard you allow. Preach the standard, live the standard, hold others accountable to the standard.
Yeah.
Let's have standards in 25.
Can I give you one?
Yes.
So on the show that I just did with Daryl, which by the way, I've edited now the one that we did with you, so that's going to be on your network, start of the year. So thank you again for that opportunity. I can't wait. We're very excited to introduce the audience to Daryl, but also to what we do, which is going to be a lot of fun. But Socrates, I was reading a little bit about his trial. He was tried before 500 jurors. They found him guilty essentially of corrupting the youth of Athens about 2,400 years ago. And during the trial, he was asked, after he was found guilty, he was asked to speak to the crowd, to the jurors, and he said a whole bunch of things, but one of the final things he said was, an unexamined life is not worth living. And I just thought that was incredibly powerful. So he was given the opportunity to leave Athens, to stop doing what he was doing, and he basically said, I would be untrue to myself if I did that. If I went somewhere else, the same thing would happen. I would speak, young men would listen, and we would be right back here. So he accepted his sentence, which was death, because he he could not betray who he was. And he said, an unexamined life is not worth living. Now, that came from Plato, obviously, because we don't know exactly what happened in the trial, but Plato was his student. Plato wrote all about it in something called the Apology. And that was the quote that stuck out to me. So just wanted to throw that out there because I think it's important for people to really live a mindful and conscious life, because we talk about how fast time goes by so often, even on this show. And if you're not careful, it'll completely escape you. So, be in the moment and constantly examine what you're doing and who you want to be and work towards that. Don't just do things unconsciously, because as Socrates told you, an unexamined life is not worth living.
Very well said. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's it. You know what? Oh, wait, hold on. There's two more things here.
No, that's how we have to end it. Just kidding.
Dooku Dan says Buffalo, New York produced Hochul and Fillmore, both accidental office holders unvoted. Fillmore, deridingly honored as his accidency, was anti-Catholic, a proponent of the Fugitive Slave Act, and many TV series had high schools named after him. Plus, he looked like Alec Baldwin, which is not. He did
not good.
Yeah. Let's see here. Coast to Coast is a disinfo psyop disguised as entertainment. It's no coincidence that Art Bell and George Norrie were both naval intelligence officers. Other naval intelligence officers are Posobiec and Bannon. No such thing as a former intelligence officer.
I've given you my thoughts on Posobiec, so offline.
We will see. Again, eyes peeled.
Yep.
Keep your eyes to the sky, as they say. Let's see what happens. And thank you guys and gals so much. After Hours is about to begin in just a moment. Jay, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. That's not what I wanted to do, damn it. There we go.
I'll catch you on the flip side.